hit the streets of Beverly.
All right. As usual, messing up all the time. But guys, welcome. Welcome to the live. You guys can hear me, right? I know it's late, guys. I know it's late, and you guys are up. That's crazy. It's crazy. You guys can hear me, right? Life happens, man. It was supposed to be at 8:30, and look, we're pretty much into tomorrow now. That's hilarious, man. Things we do for EUCs, right? Anyway, hope you guys are doing well. So tonight the topic is very clear. And we have 4 new EUCs being introduced in 2021. That's mind-blowing all by itself. Forget the weight, forget the prices. It's just mind-blowing by itself, all right? Fortunately, we have Alien Rides, who just released a beautiful short, which to me looked like a first impression. And what did you guys think of that video? Did you see it? If not, I'm going to play it a little bit later. But just by the looks of it, to be honest, it doesn't seem too bad. But I'm not sure. It could be the fact that Alien Rides is a very advanced rider. You know what I mean? He reviews scooters, like all kinds of stuff. You know what I'm saying? And usually very powerful EVs. So it might just be the fact that he is used to that type of stuff that he makes it look so simple. Like the way he wrote it, I'm like, damn, like it doesn't look that big, but it is big. And but to be fair to the Commander, it does look a little like the Sherman in terms of the height. So maybe that's the thing too, because he had it on a ledge. I don't know if you noticed, but he had it like on one of those brick things, barriers, and it really didn't look that big. What did you guys think? It really didn't. And so I was impressed by that. I was like, wow, it really did look massive on pictures. But I think the biggest of all, and you guys agree with me or not, I think it's the Abrams. I don't know. The Abrams is massive. Anyway, the topic of tonight, yes, is about how these wheels have gotten bigger. Okay. And I have some stuff planned for us so that we can get into this topic here. Let me see some of your comments. Basement Productions, he says the Commander is looking good. Yes, it's looking good, man. It's kind of funny. It's similar to the KS20. When the KS20, when we saw it in pictures, it looked amazing, right? Obviously, right out of the box, we started drooling like, holy smokes, you know what I'm saying? But when we saw the actual, well, at least for me, when I saw the actual presentation, the prototype, that is, even though colors were mismatched or whatever, it didn't matter. Just seeing it in real life, the three-dimensional nature of it, wow, like the edges, the spring, everything, like, brought to reality from renderings. I was like, holy smokes, this looks good. Like, despite all the drawbacks that I've been throwing at it, it just looks amazing. So the Commander, though, it's kind of funny because the Commander seemed kind of plain. It seemed very plain. But seeing it in real life, both on Afiz, so Afiz also had a video, which I'll also play. And now, so it's Afiz, it's Marty, and it's Alien Ride. So there are 3 people right now who technically have a first initial impression video on the Commander, and to be honest, it's looking great. So I think there was a little bit misunderstanding in my last video regarding the specs. When I was reviewing the specs between the Commander and the Sherman, someone said that, hey, the 50 miles per hour is the lift speed. But no, we've come a long way, people. We've come a long way. The 50 miles per hour lift speed is probably for the torque version. So the torque version, has lower speed. That's usually how it goes. You have 2 variants. Like I know with the MSP, it was the same way, which is a mid-level wheel now. It's kind of funny because before the Sherman, the MSP was considered a top-level wheel. Now it's a mid-level wheel. Let's be honest. It's still very portable. If you crash in it, it's still going to hurt you if you crash the wrong way. But compared to like a Sherman or a Monster or any of these new wheels, that wheel is pretty much a mid-level wheel now. We've graduated. That's crazy, dude. That's crazy how things have come. That an MSP, which a wheel that took me freaking a month to get used to from my 84 volt, is now a mid-level wheel because of these new wheels. That's just mind-boggling. Mind-boggling. Let me see what you guys have to say here. Okay, it's smaller than the Monster Pro. Yes. Yeah, we knew that. We actually compared the sizes. If you go to Ewheels.com, it does look like, the dimensions are pretty much very similar to the Sherman. E. Simon, it's the middle of Saturday afternoon here. Oh, really? Where are you? Where are you, Mr. E. Simon? I figure like most of my viewers would probably be in China or somewhere in Europe or New York, because otherwise people are sleeping, dude. I didn't care. I was going to do it anyway, because I'm like, dude, my life, our lives are all different, right? And we all have things that get in the way, but who cares? Just do it. Let's see, Basement. I like the angular shape. Yeah. It's kind of interesting. Like, it's very sharp. It's interesting. Everything seems very, boxy, but there in design, there's this thing called fillets. So it's a really smooth, even though it's boxy, like there's some smooth edges, smooth curves to it. So it gives it like a character. It has some character to it, sort of. Not really. I feel the MSP and the 84 volt MSX definitely, and the Monster even, has way more character than that wheel, but it has what you need. And that's what I like about it. It just has what you need. I've always asked for a 60 mile per hour wheel, not because I want to do 60 miles an hour. It's just because like there are certain places in Boston I've never been to, and there's a lot of freeways in Boston. So there's freeways and then there's highways. We can't go on highways yet, but freeways, there's a lot of those. And usually with the MSP, even with the high speed, I try to like find ways like roads that are back roads. So I avoid, freeways, merely because it's the high speed MSP is an 1800 watt motor. And I would probably travel like maybe 8 to 10 miles going to work. And sometimes I just don't want to carry my charger. And typical speed, even though it says 35 miles an hour, is probably like 50 miles an hour, you know what I'm saying? And in Boston, it's like this, you keep up with traffic. So if it says 35 miles an hour, that doesn't mean you're going to go 35 miles an hour. That means you have to keep up with traffic. I'm not sure how it is in your guys' state. You can tell me if that's how it is in your state. But in my state, not my state, but where I live, if it says 35 miles an hour and the traffic is doing 50, you're going to have to do 50 or close to it. It's just how it works. So if you're planning on riding on the road with an EUC, you might as well choose the bike lane. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. So that's why I always wanted a wheel that was 50 miles per hour. But, it's funny because back then I was always hoping that the battery technology would catch up with the speed of the wheels. You know what I mean? Like man, battery technology is not that easy apparently, because, and it's obviously expensive. So it seems like our needs for range and speed, is surpassing what is available right now in terms of battery technology. Because it's kind of funny, we went the opposite direction, because the 18650 cells, which exist in and correct me if I'm wrong, in the 18650. So when you hear 18650, that just means the dimensions of the battery. Okay, I think it's either height or width or whatever, volume or whatever, but it just means the dimensions of the battery. So 18650, that's a smaller battery than the 700s, obviously, right? It's a bigger number. So the 18650s are naturally going to occupy less space, which is why we have awesome wheels like the 84 volt MSX. But then after the 84 volt MSX, we went to the 21700 batteries, and look what you got. You got a bulkier MSP, naturally. You know what I mean? So, I was always, the reason I asked for a 60 mile per hour wheel is because I thought, wow, by that time that we reach that level, battery technology will catch up. You know what I mean? To what we need, meaning it will reduce in size and increase in output. It just doesn't work like that. Energy is not like that. You get what you put in. You get what you put in. So you put in a lot, you get a lot. You put in a little, you get a little. I don't know, man. That's the basics. But hopefully in the future, they can come up with some amazing technology, battery technology, that is just cheap enough that allows us to have everything we want. portability, with range and speed. Right now, we're just gonna have to deal with it. But let me go back to your comments and see what's going on here. David Mitchell, I have an S20 on pre-order. You know, I am tempted to do the same thing. I'm absolutely tempted to do the same thing, Mr. David. I have some money on the side, but it's, you know, it's I don't want to lose that money. You know what I'm saying? These wheels, I mean, you can resell them. Obviously, I don't think I'll have an issue selling my S20 if I get it. But I have a feeling, and that's the reason I don't sell wheels. I feel like if I buy a wheel, I'm going to go crazy with it, test it like crazy, and then sell it to someone. And I always feel bad because if I sell it, maybe I don't know. I just don't want something happening on my watch. You know what I'm saying? But who knows? Like if I buy an S20, I definitely won't have issue. Just like the Sherman, I feel the S20 in terms of resale value is going to be similar, if not equal or better, to the Sherman. Because right now the Sherman, freaking A, man. When that thing first came out, it was 2,800 roughly. Now it's like 3,600. And most people will buy this in a heartbeat because it is a fantastic wheel. You know what I mean? It's like one of those old BMWs that kept up with time. And I feel that's what the Sherman's going to be. It's going to be one of those collectors. And I know a guy in Rhode Island. I hope he's not watching now, but I know a guy in Rhode Island who, the new rider, you know, when I did my my review on the Sherman, there was a new rider that I was training on how to ride the electric unicycle. So I called him like a month ago. I think a month or two ago, I called him and I said, "Hey man, what's going on? How you doing? How you doing, man?" He's a tax guy. So I'm like, yeah, I need some help with taxes. You know what I'm saying? I need some help with, you know, accounting and all that stuff. Hey, by the way, do you have the Sherman still? And he goes, "Oh yeah, I have the Sherman. I just I'm like, have you been riding it?" He's like, "No, I've been meaning to ride it." I'm like, "Yo, do you think you're selling it?" And he's like, "Oh no." He's like, "Oh no, I plan on riding it." I'm like, no, it's okay. I mean, you can give it to me, and if you want it back, I'll just sell it back to you. You know, like I was trying to like finagle him, but he's not selling it. And now, if he really is paying attention to everything that's going on, he's definitely not selling it. So Shermans they're really good wheels, and it's kind of funny. I used to complain about the weight of the Sherman. But now it doesn't even matter. The lightest wheel, which is the KS20, is the weight of the Sherman. You know what I'm saying? The only hope I have for the KS20 in terms of weight density is that it's not going to be like the Sherman. The Sherman is very dense. So the materials that they use for the Sherman, I'm not sure what it is. It's some type of plastic, but the materials they use is very, very strong and very dense. Everything is heavy about that wheel, right? The bars, everything is heavy because everything is well built. The Z10, like I said in other videos, was the only other wheel I felt that was the same way. It was small, but it was very dense, primarily because of the quality of the material they're using. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Sherman is way more heavier than like something like the KS20. You know what I mean? Because if you look at the KS20, it has very small part, like very a lot of parts, but no body. There's no body to it. So so that's what I think. What do you guys think? Let me look at your comments here. E. Simon, the footage on the alien ride. Yes, it was a fantastic video. Alien Rides always has some fantastic quality videos, man. Wow. But I was surprised he did such a short review. Maybe he's doing more. It was initial impression. He did say at the very end, this was it for this episode. So maybe he will have more. But let's look. Saguku. I think the Commander kind of suffers in the Sherman comparison because the roll cage is great for mounting points. Yes, of course. Hey, this is why I need to, or you guys do. I need to figure out how this is a market I could grab right now, but I just don't know how to do it. And you know what? I need to work harder in trying to figure out how to create roll cages for wheels. I have one right there right now on my high-speed MSP. And it's just prime. But anyway, that's talk. I'm talking, talk. Let's do, right? Stop talking and do. But you're absolutely right, man. You're absolutely right. That thing is like prime for bars. I don't know why they didn't put bars. Well, I know why. It's cost. And it would absolutely look like a Sherman. Oh, man. Okay, so Basement Productions. And the LED taillights looks cool. You know, the LED taillights are kind of disappointing for me. Like, it's disappointing. And like how much does it take to add an actual taillight? Like, I mean, come on. Like, seriously. you can have both. You can have a massive tail light and you can have LEDs. What's wrong with that? I mean, if you look at it, it's like a max. What did Alien Wright say? Alien Wright says in his review that it is a souped up, I forgot what he said. Did he say it was a souped up MSP or something like that? I forgot what he said, but he compared it to one of the lower wheels from Gotway. My point is, if you look at the EXN, right? The EXN doesn't have flashy lights, but it has a beautiful backlight. Really, dude? It doesn't take that much. Instead of the speakers being where they are, because the speakers is independent from the buzzer, right? So who cares? Put the speaker somewhere else. Put the speaker where they had it for the RS. Perfect location. But to replace a tail light, like a real tail light for speakers is a, in my opinion, that's just, in my opinion, that was a bad decision, because you can have the LEDs, but the LEDs by themselves are not that bright, dude. Like, for real, it's not that bright. Do you guys agree? June Chen, are you going to Broadway tomorrow? That's tomorrow? No, I can't. I'm not, and I wouldn't go anyway. I personally don't like these things. It's just too much going on. You know what I mean? Yeah, I just, no, I'm not. I don't mind a regular group ride, but the Broadway bomb, who knows? Maybe if I go, I'll love it. But on the outside looking in, I don't want to go. All right. Okay. Sakogu, West Coast Canadian, only near, and okay. Oh, cool. You're answering my question earlier. NYCEUC, what's NYCEUC? What's up? What's up, NYC? Europe, for sure. East Simon, Australia. Okay, so I got some international callers, and I definitely have some New Yorkers. You know what I'm saying? I expected that. Look, it's late. Most people in US or maybe on the West Coast will watch this, but China for sure, Europe for sure. But who cares? Whoever is watching, watch. You know what I'm saying? And chime in. Okay, Luby, I pre-ordered the King song, but man, all the wheels are great. Yes, every one of them are great. No, you guys, you know, how many? I'm very curious to know how many of you are ordering the S20 based on the fact that, you know, based what they call is the wave. How many of you are ordering it based on the hype that's going on right now? Like, how many of you are ordering? Okay, give me put in the chat your reason for ordering the KS20. Obviously, the number one reason is suspension. I get that, but you have, you know, yeah, I guess, because you can't really compare the Hero. Marty was right. And it's kind of funny. I almost laughed when he said that. He said that the Hero is dead on arrival. It is, because of the price. If you look at the price, if you look at the battery, if you look at the speed, everything is like negative. The only positive about the Hero is that it's a suspension wheel that's well built, but the price is just insanity. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I feel like most people are on the hype train here, but it's a good hype train. It's not like a bad hype train. It's just, damn, like, wow, man, the S20 did a good job, like, getting you guys. Smart move, Luby. Sagoku, but if you pre-test it hard, it is confidence for the buyer if lighter. Sakugi, KS20 looks all metal, really. Yeah. That's the only thing I like about it. The body and casing for the battery and the inner part of the suspension or shocks looks very solid. But like Marty said, and like this is obvious, metal bends. So in certain cases, for example, when you crash your wheel or you hit it against something really hard, the plastic might deform. You know what I mean? Like, or it might chip. You might chip at it, or you might crack it. In some cases, that's like usually really hard. But if you look at the Sherman, in many cases, when it encounters a crash, the rail bends. Like, you can see it's dented. You know what I mean? So, but then again, it's flat. You know, so maybe it'll just slide against something. I don't know. It just. I'm very curious to see how this thing operates in real life. I'm very, very, very curious. Very curious. I love the methodology they stated for the S20. If it doesn't help performance or durability, they omitted it. Hey, listen, these companies, oh man, they're really good at marketing. Like, they're really good in marketing speak, like how they speak. And I always try to go for that. Like, I remember when the Nicola was coming out, You know what I'm saying? And then they were riding in the sand and on the beach, and I'm like, whoa, like aren't you guys like aren't you promoting like salt and like, you know, because salt gets in your machine, dude, corrosion, man. But they're really good at speaking. You know what I'm saying? I would say that, and Sherman didn't really do much speaking. Actually, Sherman didn't do much marketing at all. I think we were just so thirsty for something new. Sherman just happened to be the wheel that, you know, just gave us everything we needed at that time. But the S20, yes, they're saying a whole lot, and they have some amazing specs and graphics and stuff like that. And I was kind of taken back when the presentation done by I keep forgetting his name, the guy, and you know, I forgot his name. I'm so sorry. Electric Dreams, that the colors were off, you know, so it's I was kind of disappointed in that. So I'm taking everything with a grain of salt, because every time they mess up in any way, I'm like, oh, red flag, oh, red flag, oh, red flag. You know what I'm saying? So let's hope that's not what it is. But yes, you're right. It does make sense. And it's funny because we're seeing that. We see that they didn't add anything that didn't need to be there. And for good reason, man. It would add more crazy weight. Mr. Brewer, I agree on the tail light. Yeah, man, that doesn't make any sense to me. Now we're going to, and it's not even modular. That's the worst part. There's nothing modular about the wheel. There's no space in the wheel that we can actually clamp on something there or tap. It's just, you're going to have to literally get some aftermarket thing, open it up like the first Tesla that didn't have a brake light, and make your own Tesla light. But here's what's cool though. The handle in the back, at least you can, you know, finagle or, you know, add something on there with clamps and just forego using that part of the wheel to carry and just put a light there. I don't know, figure something out. At least there's that. The Sherman is heavy but well balanced. Yep, and so is the Commander. Does S20 even have speakers? That's a good question. I think the answer is no. Guys, can you answer that in the comments? He's asking if the S20 has speakers. I don't think it does. I don't think the S20 has any bells and whistles besides itself. You know what I mean? So, yeah. John Chen, could be too bulky for the S20 if it had that S18-like shell. Exactly. And this makes sense. And look, I don't think they could have solved the issue. I don't think they were able to solve the issue with the shell. Because if you look, the shell was a major issue, dude. Like, it was seriously a major issue. Number one, the shell could not hold itself together during a crash, or not even a crash, a really hard thud, like through bumps and stuff. It'll just come apart. Second, there's really no place to put the pads. You remember, if you look at most videos or most pictures of the S18, all you'll see is a lot of guys trying to retrofit pads on the side of it, because there's no body, there's nothing. You know, the plastic that existed at the time or currently literally was a hindrance. It was all for looks. So they were smart. They're like, hey, instead of trying to figure this out, let's just scrap it. Scrap it. Now, there's a piece that comes from the top toward the side pads. Okay, so it doesn't matter. I was going to show you, but there's a piece that comes from the top to the side pads, and it makes sense with the design. But when you take out these side pads, that piece is going to look funny. It's going to look like hanging over, but hopefully you can replace it with some awesome looking pads that will, you know, blend in with the rest of the body or whatever is left of the body. San Francisco, nice. That's what I expected. Suit up, thanks. Hype. Yeah, it is a lot of hype, but I think it's good hype. That's the thing. So there's certain hypes, right? There's good hype and there's bad hype. This hype seems very, very good. The more I look at the S20, the more I'm like, wow, this is literally a bike. It's a bike. It's a motorcycle, dude, without the guardrails. I have a friend with an S18. I'm inspired by guys like Chooch. Yes. And I'll show a video of Chooch later. But yes, Chooch is a very light guy. And the fact that he can handle something like the Sherman, you know, that says it, man. That says a lot of you guys can aspire to riding these bigger wheels. You know what I'm saying? Even me. Looks okay. Looks is good. Comes with everything: pedals, jump pads, seats. Yeah, that's good. That saves you from having to, you know, figure out which pads you're gonna do or use, or if you're gonna use pads at all. The only problem I have is the bottom part of the pad is not adjustable sideways. So if that doesn't fit your leg, because I know that's the one thing about pads is customization. If that doesn't fit the bottom part of your leg, then that might be an issue. It might end up changing your riding style. John Chen, you could just replace it, obviously. I think the S20 is being hyped up too much. People will be. That's the problem. That's the thing. Like, it's hyped up so much, right? You're just like, it's one of those shocks, But on the flip side, I feel it's a 50-50. No, it's not a 50-50. I think you're mostly right. Because here's the thing, June. With the Sherman, right? If you look at the Sherman, when the Sherman first came out on pictures, I hated it. It looked ugly. It looked. We were, not all of us, but a lot of us were of the opinion that whoever designed it went into the shop, into like a shop somewhere, like a bike shop or some hardware store, and took a bunch of pieces and put it together and say, here, we call it the Sherman. Because everything looked strange. Like it was very revolutionary at the time. It was ahead of its time because of the modularity and the rails. But that's not how we took it. A lot of us, not all of us, me included. I didn't take it like amazing. I took it like, wow, this thing looks like it crashes. The lights are just going to come apart. And then when it came out, because the expectations, or in terms of how we expected it to perform and look and stuff like that, was kind of low, we loved it more because in real life, it was really amazing. It was just renderings anyway, initially. With this S20, it's a little bit different. We're going nuts. So you're right. It's really hard to keep up to expectations, man. So let's hope they can. That was a lot to say here, but you get my point. Adjustable pedals. All right. That's a good reason to have it. Adjustable pedals right out the box. That's cool, man. I like the attention Kingsong is. Yep. Me too, actually, because, I've always said Kingsong, and not just me, a lot of people have said the Kingsong is like pretty much the safest wheel next to InMotion. It's the safest wheel out there. You know what I mean? And for them to come out with something like that, because I've never equated Kingsong with performance and innovation like that until they came up with the S18. And we were very curious to see what they were going to do with the, past the S18. And they did a fantastic job, man. A fantastic job. June, he agrees with you. Basement Productions, I'm going to wait until after it's very tempting. It's very tempting not to wait after the first batch. And every single release, we learn something. For example, with the Sherman, it wasn't much, but with the Sherman, what did we learn? Fuses. The thing blew up. Second, what was the second thing? The second thing was the road tire, because initially they give it with it came with a knobby tire. Then the road tire, they had to create the road tire. Then after that, it was the BMS. So if you crash it on its side, there was a small part you had to shave down. Later on, they found out that, if you crashed it the wrong way, it could damage the BMS. So you had to do some, finagling, going in and shaving down certain parts of the plastic in order to hopefully they fix that in the new iterations. I don't know, but these were minor things, let's be honest, with the Sherman. Devo plus Kingsong is great. Yeah, it is. The 16X, I have a 16X right here under me that I haven't opened because I've been hearing a knocking sound. I took it off-roading like I did the MSP, and I beat it up, and I'm hearing some knocking sounds, so I got to fix that. But overall, it's a fantastic wheel. I want to point out that the Commander fan, what's up with that, guys? What's up with the Commander's fan? Like, I didn't hear it. Afiz didn't talk about it. Alien Rides, I don't remember talking about it. I think the only person that talked about it was is it EUC Upgrades? I don't want to say the wrong person, but somebody talked about the fan. And I don't know what's going on with this fan. Now, the MSP, when it first came out, had the same issue. It was loud for no reason, man. Like, I'll just park this thing without even driving it. I'll turn it on, park it next to the wall, and it's just fan going all night. I'm like, what the frick is wrong with this thing? Why is it so loud? So I'm not sure what's up with that. Another thing to your point about the fan, Basement Productions was saying, where is the vents? There's no vents. Like, where's the air coming from? And he looked and he couldn't find the vents. And he's like, I guess it's coming from the inside. So it's possible that this thing heats up so much that the fan is going to have to keep blowing. I don't know. I have no idea. Exactly. I'm not sure what you're saying exactly too. Sagu, corners add strength to metal for sure. The Veteran roll cage kind of floats, doesn't it? I've seen some crashes with the Veteran and the rail came off. Now, to be fair, the guy who in New York, he when he crashed, the rail just came off. He said he hadn't like tightened the rail or something like that, and so he wasn't expecting to crash, and it just appeared like, I don't know. I'm trying to read through all your comments here. I'm not ordering the first generation of any wheel. That's right. That's smart. I'll wait for reviews and see what. That's right. And usually that's how it is, man. Usually I don't recommend ordering the first of any EUC, but someone's gonna have to do it. Somebody's gonna have to bite the bullet for us, man. If nobody buys it, no one's gonna know. Sakogu. The S18 was picked on for its explodable plastic parts. Yeah, dude, you drop that thing, just explodes. It was very terribly built in that sense. Marketing and reality don't always agree. Very correct. I won't cut KS any slack. Correct. And you shouldn't. Why should you? It's your money. Why should you cut it any slack? Because some renderings, tantalize your inner desires of EUCs. You know what I mean? No, I agree with you. They have made elegant and reliable wheels in the past. Never lower your expectations. Never lower your expectations. And I agree. The renderings kind of forces us to do that. We look at the renderings and we just let down our guard, and then we dish out our money, and then we get it, and we're like, what the frick is this? I'm going to buy the Sherman. And and honestly, if before these wheels came out, I would say, hey, buy a wheel. Honestly, dude, it doesn't even matter right now. And, so yeah. I'm also excited to think that the S20 is probably a quiet wheel like the S18, and the fact that they gave serious thought to the hollow motor issue. Yeah, that's interesting. Sensei Vegan was saying that the hollow motor hole is smaller, which should aid with like its reliability and performance. So we'll see. I love the Sherman. It was vastly different in visual. Yes, yeah. Like I said, in real life, the Sherman is, man, that thing can take a picture. Like some people have like they're like photographic. The Sherman is definitely photographic. It's one of those wheels that's very photographic. It takes a picture well. Yes, it does. Same with the Z10 because of the tire. What were we talking about the Z10? Plus the new sensor that keeps you from crashing. Now, I want more explanation about that. I don't think Electric Dreams explained that much. I need him to explain that. That is just phenomenal if that's the case, man. I would really, really like to know about that more a little bit. EUC upgrades on Marty mentioned it. Okay, thank you. I wasn't sure. Veteran cage is not overly durable. It's more for deflection protection. Mine is held by 4 simple self-tap screws into the thin pipe, of which are glued in. Yeah, I always found that strange. Like if you really look at the Veteran Sherman at the very bottom, it's not really secured or fastened. Even my rail is more fastened than the Veteran Sherman. But what the Veteran Sherman has going for it is that it has those like spaces that the metal part clamps into, so that adds a lot of rigidity too in the shell, the frame. Okay, a simple sensor won't prevent anything. Oh man, I think the safety lies in system monitoring and safeguards that cannot be overridden. Yeah, I would agree. All right, what up, bud? Banana and happy. What up, bud? All right, guys. Well, now that I've read all your comments, let's get into the show. Let's do this. Ready? All right, let's do this, guys. I got a video prepared for you guys, and it's 49 minutes. Let's get into the show. All right, let's do it. Let's do it. Oh, shoot. Always messing up. Let's do this.
Modern EUCs are big and heavy. Is that a good thing? So what did we have before? We were introduced with wheels such as the InMotion V5, the V5, the Kingsong 14D, Tesla, Gotway MCM, Gotway ACM, Airwheel, and others. So what did they all have in common? Well, they were all extremely portable. They were accessible and even in some cases invisible. That is the M10. At the time, they all served their purpose, a last mile device to complement your automobile. So example, if you lived in a city but had a hard time finding parking, that was your solution, the EUC. And yes, we had scooters, bikes, but these were not light, and definitely in the case of bikes, were not motorized. But the best part with these newcomers is that they could be parked or stored practically anywhere. So here's the good. The good is they helped introduce the world of portable vehicles to the world of EUCs in a safe manner. Okay, so they did that safely. If you lived 10 minutes from work, then why wouldn't you take your mini EUC, which you could bring into the store and place it inside your cart where no one would even notice? These were fun times. These units were safe, slow, and extremely underpowered. As they became more and more popular in the world, naturally, heavier riders became interested as well, which created more interest in this new mode of transportation. Now, simultaneously, riders with an appetite for speed naturally grew another appetite for range, which brings us to what we have today. Today, we not only have speed and range, but we now have weight and a whole lot of new riders excited to jump onto the EUC train, which seems to have no brakes at all. Okay, that is the train. These new riders are enticed possibly as a side effect of manufacturers attempting to satisfy the needs of more experienced riders, who for the most part are setting the trend of what an acceptable EUC is. Now, instead of carrying your EUC downstairs before, where they were small and portable, you now fly down the stairs, or as they say, bomb down the stairs. And now, instead of the last mile device, you ride the entire 24 miles to work and back and go on a 50-mile group ride after that. So now that becomes your vehicle. What we have now is true freedom and nirvana. But is this good? Today, modern EUCs are big and heavy. Is this something we need to get used to? Let's talk about it.
All right, so there we go. That was a good video, guys. Very nice little video here. Now, the purpose of this video was to show the progression, without really getting into it. But the point was, back then, we were introduced to really light wheels, very light, very portable. And that was the whole point. Now, my guess is that was not the point. I don't think they intended to introduce portable electric unicycles as portable electric unicycles that we could carry, put in our backpacks, etc. I don't think that was the purpose. I think initially that was what they could offer at the time because of technology. And now, because of natural interests that grow over time, because of what those new wheels lacked, it was a natural progression to move to these bigger wheels. And I think that's just what we got right now. Unfortunately, like I stated earlier, battery technology was not able to keep up. And so we have these massive wheels, because what else are they going to do? Keep giving us these tiny wheels? It's not going to happen. We are heading in that direction now because that's the natural order of things. So let me get into some stats here, because I put down some stats for this particular video. And if you think about it, the question is for the night, are modern EUCs overweight? Okay, so let me ask you guys. Let me put let me copy the link here, and I'll put it in the chat, and you guys can chime in, because this is supposed to be a two-way conversation, man. Okay, not just in the chat. You can talk. You don't have to show your camera. Either way, these wheels exist because of us, right? Because we continue to buy them, we continue to promote them. No one tells us to promote them. We just do it out of, love for the EUC. And as a result, we as a result are the testers. And because of our videos, a lot of these companies, they say they don't look at us, but a lot of these companies realize what we need, and they give us what we need based on our, based on how many of us cry about these necessities that we need in these new wheels, that these old wheels lack. So fortunately, we have these amazing wheels. They're very heavy. But here's a question. Are modern wheels overweight? That's a simple question. Okay, so let me see your answers. Are modern wheels overweight? Are modern wheels overweight? You can answer however you want. And when I say modern wheels, I mean from the Sherman on, because the Monster was not really considered. It was never meant to be portable. The Monster was always in a category of its own. Okay, so I'm not going to include the Monster, but I'm definitely going to include the Sherman. On. So it's the Sherman, the Hero, the Commander, the Abrams, and the KS20. Okay, all these wheels share the same trait. They're very heavy. So what do you guys think? What do you guys think? Let's see what you guys are saying here. This guy says, how dare you weight shame wheels? Yo, man, they're overweight, bro. Maybe not. I'm going to get into reasons why I think it is and why I think it's not, and why I think some, obviously you guys know there's positive and negatives to everything. But it's possible that there are more positives than negatives. Cool video. Thank you very much. Let's see. Someone popped in. Oh, whoa, it's Law. Whoa. He's a celebrity, guys. All right, Law. I'm going to let you in. All right. Hey, Law, hold on. Not everybody knows who you are. So can you please explain who you are so that people can understand? Because this guy is like a treasure.
I'm a casual. I don't even talk about it. But I'm Law. I am from Las Vegas, and I ride EUCs. Pretty much I'm one of the leading riders of Vegas, if not the. I'm just hang out with a bunch of people and kind of send it whenever possible.
Yeah, so Law is I don't know how long have you been riding, Law?
It's a little over 2 years now.
Oh, what? Are you serious?
That's it, buddy. 2019, bud.
So you've been riding like a lot then, not just like on and off. You've been riding, because here's the thing. I've been riding longer than Law, but he's more advanced than me. Like it's about the quality time that you put into it, for sure. Right.
Yeah.
So, Law. So,
Yes, sir.
just a little background here. I used to hate pads, okay, and
Yeah.
no one could get me to use pads at all. But one day, I went to the Real Life Rally with the Black Cobra, and I was competing against these guys, and Law was gone. He was jumping, doing all kinds of crazy things, and I was asking him, "How are you able to do these things?" And he's like, "Dude, you're riding naked." I'm like, "What do you
It
mean?"
is.
You look at my wheel, and he's like, "You got no pads. You can't do anything."
Yeah.
So
I
that's how I got
understand.
into pads.
I understand the whole comfort factor with not using pads, and you have more like whatever freedom, but you end up sacrificing so much. Like even just having small wedges over your feet that allows you to bring yourself over a curb and being able to jump over even up a curb, that's a huge difference.
Yeah,
You end up
yeah.
having
Oh
so much
yeah,
more capability. Yeah, it
absolutely.
opens so much more horizon to be able to cruise through.
And I've
But
loved my pads ever since. Hey, Law.
for sure.
So let me ask.
Wait, but hold on, but with your pads, we got to do a little bit of editing. I saw what you were doing. You want to make a little bit more wedge on the power pad and the brake pad. That'll help you out.
Yeah. So, Law. Part of the reason I did what I did, and obviously I welcome your edits,
Yes,
is because I
for
still
sure.
don't like being caged in too much. So
Oh
I
no, that's
went.
why I agree. The so with that, the if you make it wedged out for the pads, then it allows rather than having a straight wall to get
Mhm.
your leg unable to pass around. If you have a wedge, you can let your leg drift past it.
Okay. Right. Right.
Yeah,
Right. Okay.
yeah,
Cool.
for sure.
So, Law, since you have a lot of experience with wheels, you have experience with very small wheels, mid-range wheels, and very advanced big wheels. Can
Yeah,
you
but
answer the question: Are modern wheels overweight? And if you think they're overweight, are there what kind of advantages or disadvantages you see to these modern wheels? I mean, it seems like it's just going in one direction.
what is making us call them overweight is mostly because are we calling the batteries overweight? Are we calling the extra components overweight? What is it exactly about this that we're talking about?
The form factor, the entire size.
Okay, I'm totally fine with the extra weight. It's definitely not for everybody. That it drastically increases the price because battery prices are way more expensive than they should be right now.
Mhm.
Um, at the moment, yeah, I mean, like my problem with weight isn't really much of an issue. It's the way that the weight's distributed that annoys me the most out of anything else. Like the EXN, the RS, all the new design, or like not necessarily the RS, but it has a weird shape. The Monster Pro, all those they end up having a lot chunkier wheels, and then they're way wide at the top.
Mm.
So what happens is when you're standing, nobody stands with their legs out and then bent back in, right? You know how like people's legs get bowed out? So pretty much with that, what happens is you're using more muscles to be able to stand up straight, and then when you're leaning forward, that ends up inducing a little bit of wobble. So
Mm.
yes, heavy wheels end up being safer because they have the extra stability of that weight. But then the problem is because you're not like at a more triangulated stance, it makes it slightly more dangerous at speed if you end up in a wobble. So then some
Yeah,
people
I think
accidentally
you're
break
right
it.
because when I had my 84 volt MSX, it was a much smaller wheel,
It's
uh,
skinny.
yeah, very skinny, and I don't
Yeah.
usually have a wide stance, but when I moved over to the MSP, I had a huge issue, and I
Yep.
had wobbles. I had wobbles because of that.
Yeah. When's the last time you've been in an RS? Have you tried that one?
I tried it at the last Black Cobra event, but I didn't really ride it. I just rode it a little bit. It was a lot
True.
lighter though. It's a lot lighter than my wheel, my MSP.
Yeah. Really? Oh,
Yeah,
what was
I felt
the
it was lighter. Maybe it was because I had extra pads, but I felt it was lighter than my wheel.
possibly? What hour is your MSP?
It's an 1800 torque version MSP.
Okay, true. I remember that one. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, with you do get the extra stability and it's a great time.
I think
Um,
I think that's the plus though. The plus is that the bigger wheels offer stability. For example, in the wind, I hate riding in the wind. But
yeah,
when I was in the Sherman, I barely felt the wind.
yeah, you get affected way less by those random variables for sure.
Yeah.
Uh, I love riding. Like me, I've got the EXN, the RS Speed, and the RS Torque as my main wheels right now. And then
Mhm.
I've got the Commander in the garage right now, just playing around with and testing.
Wait. Hold on. You,
So
you got the Commander right now?
yeah, buddy, we're playing with. So it came in with Yuko. So then, I'm like kind of helping out with Yuko, doing random stuff with him.
Right.
We're gonna be putting out a couple of videos with Yuko sometime soon. We just got to record those.
Hey guys,
But
do you guys have any questions for Law about the Commander? Because he has the Commander. I have some questions for you about the Commander.
yeah, go for it, bud.
You've ridden the Sherman before, right? Where'd you go? I think he disappeared, guys. So the Commander is probably not that good a wheel because he disappeared. I'm just playing.
Okay, sorry.
I'm just
Sorry,
playing.
totally lost it.
I thought you ran away when I
I'm
asked
back
you
now.
for the Commander.
Exactly. But yeah, if you got any questions, then definitely shoot them my way. I mean,
yeah. So my take on the Commander is that it's a copy, and I'm sure a lot of people say the same thing, but it's a copy of the Sherman. Now, regardless,
yes,
yeah. Regardless of that, how is the riding dynamics? Because
it feels
Sherman,
great.
Yeah, go on, explain.
I love it. So if you compare, if you have two similar tires, if you take the BS like 262 off the Sherman, and then if you take or whatever CST tire, so far the CST tire that I've been seeing on the Commander isn't as bad of a knobby as the Sherman, but I'm not entirely a fan of street riding with the knobby because you end up drifting way more than you need to. What was it? So if you put both wheels onto like insert a random street tire, the Commander is going to end up having way more stability. Or no, that's a lie. Sherman is going to have technically way more stability. The Commander is going to be way more nimble and more capable of throwing around because
really?
you have the higher pedal height, so that makes a huge difference. The weight distribution, because it's higher up, that allows you to, or it brings the center point of your or pretty much the center of gravity with it being higher up. You can throw the lower portion of the wheel around without having to worrying about transferring it back or transferring the energy back towards the center and stuff like that. Overall it's a great wheel. I like it. The pedals are huge, which is a plus for a lot of riders. I like them because you're able to step out wider. But again, just like what I was mentioning earlier, wheels are way too wide and chunky up top. And then if you pinch down on that part while you're getting your legs like completely flush with the wheel, you're gonna wobble more. So then you have to spread out your legs and be in a more natural stance.
Is it longer? Because the Sherman has a very long pedal. Is it long like the Sherman, or?
They're long like the Sherman for sure. I needed to, or I did have them side by side. We had this one guy from Oklahoma City, Shane, I think his name was. He brought his Sherman, and the pedals were about the same. I'd say they were like a little bit wider at the ends. You know how the Sherman's kind of it's skinny, fat, then skinny at the end.
Yep.
It's just fat the whole way.
Oh, really?
On the Commander, it's pretty rad.
Now the Sherman had issues from day one with pedal dipping. Are you experiencing that?
Oh yeah, pedal dip all day it's not nearly as bad. So it feels like a version 2 MSP, probably like yours, depending. Does your MSP dip?
Initially, I felt it a lot, but I'm used to it now. Like,
okay, I got you.
I don't feel it anymore.
Yeah, so like the version 1 MSP that they had like with the prototypes and a couple of the first batches, those ones ended up being like perfect in terms of like there's like no pedal dip, no dropping of the toe at all. So then you don't have to change your stance and the way that you're accelerating through a turn. But V2 and on, that's what it feels like with the Commander. You have that little bit of dip, so then you have to counteract with you have to pretty much use your heel to make sure that you're not over tilting forward while you're trying to go through a turn, whatever.
Yeah. So would you compare that to the Sherman and say that it's better than the Sherman in terms of like handling pedal dips?
In terms of ride feel, easily. For people who don't ride with pads and really like soft mode, I understand why they would still want a Sherman over it. Because if you don't have pads and you're using like a torque motor, like so with riding with motors or riding with soft mode in general, it's pretending that the wheel is weaker than it is. And then that keeps you're pretty much trying not to fall too far forward while being able to accelerate with that whole readjustment of that pedal angle. So with the speed version of the Commander, it feels a tiny bit more torquey than the Sherman, but then
I
the tune
said that.
feels
I
better.
said that in my review. So you have the speed version, right?
We have oh no, we've got both, bud.
Oh yeah, of course. I said that. I
Yeah.
said because it's what? It's a 20. Is it a 2800 watt
It's a
motor?
28, but it's honestly feeling just it's one for speed. Say like the 2800 on the EXN for the EXN the speed version. That thing, it's a 2800, but it feels way more torquey than the Commander wants to be
But
as far as speed versions go.
But the speed version Commander feels way more torquier initially off the line than the Sherman, right?
I want to say yeah,
Yeah,
for
that's what I'm
sure.
talking
As
about.
far as the tune is way better than the Sherman in my opinion.
Yeah, man.
But
Because the thing is, I
yeah,
like the torque version Commander. The problem
yeah,
is I don't like the speed. So
I get you.
I wanted both worlds, and I always
I
thought
get you.
that the Sherman, the 2500 watt motor made no sense to me because my
Yeah,
MSP is 2500, and that
exactly.
thing, yeah.
I compare it to the MSP speed. Honestly, the motor I think is the same as the MSP speed.
Mm.
Something that did sort of excite me is the with the torque version. I want to say that it's the same motor, and they might be using the same motor from the same factory for the MSPs. And because the MSP torque's been outdated for a little while, a lot of people who ended up breaking their axles, they might
Ooh.
be able to replace their motors with these from the Commander. So
So
the
the axle brake is because of what? Jumping mostly, or normal
it's
use?
so it's the acceleration, like heavy hard acceleration, hard deceleration.
Mhm.
It's good because you're using like a tiny straw.
Yeah, I
How
know.
do I explain it? Yeah, it's the whole. You have a tiny axle, single axle that you have two shims, and then the shims are constantly being like forced and wiggled into like a warped position.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So then, as those get beat up, you end up hearing a knocking noise when you're riding the wheel. So
That's the
then,
That's the MSP.
that's all the Gotway, like the older axle styles.
I never, I've never heard, and I've ridden a lot. I've
Yeah.
never heard that stuff on my wheel. Is it because I do mostly road riding?
Mostly that, and then also jumping could be a factor. When you're jumping, what happens is if you're landing and then you're landing back,
Mm-hmm.
you know how like sometimes people's wheels end up chirping on the ground because
Mm-hmm.
they're not matching the speed.
Yeah.
That is pretty much twisting it's pretty much cranking against the axle and pretty much forcing the axle to bend. So that puts a lot of stress on it, and yeah, it's. I honestly think the going back to the older hub motor styles
Mm-hmm.
is a little bit of a step back, because with the hollow motor you have 8 points of contact versus the MSP's like single axle, and it's like a straw.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's hollow, and then you don't want to rely on that.
Well,
Whereas like
that's why you get the KS20, right, or the Hero.
the S20, I'm so excited for
Oh,
that.
oh, dude, tell us.
So excited
Because you are an off-roading dude. Like that's what you do.
I'm
So
I
tell me
I
what you
actually
think about
haven't been riding as much off road. I've been catering to a lot of the newer riders recently.
Oh, really?
I'm a community guy. I don't care as much about trying to be best or whatever. I like
But you
the
do a
local
lot of
guys.
off-roading though.
I do off road for sure, and I have fun with it.
So you've ridden the KS18 off-road, yeah?
I hate it. It's stupid.
Yeah.
Just because. So
Go
the
on.
lack of torque. I love the way it's tuned. Under 20 miles per hour, S18 feels fine. But the S20 having that extra motor, or the extra torque and being able to throw the wheel as hard as you want, that's gonna be beautiful. And then along with that, with the tuning of it, you're gonna be able to ride banks and accelerate through the banks and not cry too much because your toes are gonna be dropping down.
Mm.
Yeah.
So I have Real Talk has a question. He says, "Is the Commander advantage over the Sherman worth $4,000?
How much is a Sherman nowadays?
3,600.
I mean, you're paying for extra battery also. That's something
true.
to note for sure.
And motor.
Yeah, extra battery, more motor if you're getting the torque version.
Mm-hmm.
For those guys who are looking for range and not necessarily the top speed, because a lot of riders, honestly, they end up going 35, 40 on average. How many people actually push the 45, 50 or like hold it? Because if you do that, then you turn out to have maybe like a 20-mile, 30-mile ride on a Sherman.
Yeah, that's what I expect to do is pulling it. But you're saying the high speed does not have a 2,800 watt motor?
By the way it feels, I feel like I'm riding the MSP speed and the MSP
Oh,
torque
really?
with 2 extra battery packs.
Interesting. See,
It's
the
just in
thing
a
is,
different form factor.
I I burnt my capacitor on my high speed MSP trying
Fun.
to I was trying to compare it with the torque version off the line, and I went down
Okay.
and it just popped. So it's
Okay, I think I
still
remember that. Yeah.
it's still dead right now. Um, yeah. So one of my questions to you was,
Mm.
how did you feel the braking was on both, on the high speed and the torque commander? Like
Uh,
I'm talking about like really gunning it
yeah,
and then
yeah,
braking.
yeah. I was playing with that day one, and I was scared for my life when I did that with the high speed, like hard braking.
Hmm.
But I brake really hard as far as like really pinching into the wheel and at the midpoint, and then doing the full like squat down. You know what I'm talking about?
Hmm. Yeah, I know.
Like squatting, yeah, pinching and squatting behind the wheel. Uh, I overpowered the motor just as easy as I would a Sherman with the high
Oh
speed version.
wow. Well, that
The
makes sense.
torque,
That makes sense. The high
it
speed.
makes sense. It's one for speed, so that's what
Yeah.
you're gonna get.
Yeah.
The the torque version, it felt great. It felt like an MSP.
Mhm.
It's an MSP torque with extra
Oh
battery packs.
man,
Yeah.
that's
So you're getting it's either you want speed or if you want the torque, and then I like the torque because of safety. Because again, if you're riding on like higher speed, like going 5 miles an hour, and there's a car that's about to T-bone you, you want to be able to
you want
brake
to be able to
within.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. You
And
want to be able to stop on a dime. Yeah.
yeah. So then you
So
want to be able to do that squat, and then on top of that, do the whole carving thing to
yeah,
scrub speed.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, you should do more videos on carving because I still don't know how to do it.
I'm starting to. The little banana and happy thing. I'm probably gonna change the name multiple times until I figure out something I like.
Figure it out,
Uh,
man. Because
it's
I'm trying to learn it. I'm a tall
it'll
guy,
say,
so
yeah,
I
yeah,
need
for
to
sure.
figure it
I just want to get I want to get some videos out and at least express
out. At
what
least
I
on
know
carving,
now.
man. That's something everybody needs to know how to do.
Oh, for
But,
sure. Yeah.
but you went away from the KS20. Can you please explain
Okay. Sorry.
advantages and disadvantages? And do you recommend that wheel for new riders?
Yes. Yes. Or for new riders?
Hmm.
For new riders, no.
Yeah.
It's an expensive wheel. Why are you buying that much wheel to start off when you can buy 2 MSPs or
You
two
know.
RSs?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's you get the S20 for specific reasonings, as in if you want the extra torque and you want that, I guess, 43 miles per hour speed, which is honestly going to be it's going to probably throttle to 42 and then back down to 35 while you're down to 50% if they're playing the old Kingston game.
Yeah.
Um,
If they are. Yeah, that's a good
if they
question. Oh
are,
shoot, that's a
we don't
very good
know.
question.
Yeah, that's something that was never. I don't know if Jackie ever mentioned that. Do you remember?
That's a very good question. I forgot about that. I completely
Yeah,
forgot that was a King Song thing.
yeah, yeah. We haven't ridden them in forever. What's the last King song you've been on?
16X.
16X. Okay,
Yeah, that's like a Gotway wheel, man. I
it's
like
tried
that.
and
I
true.
like that wheel. I like it.
I want to see a 16XL.
Oh,
I
okay.
feel like they can put in a little bit more battery into there and if they give us like a 2500 watt motor with that's like torque tune or tune 4 torque,
Hmm.
I'd be all over that.
Yeah.
The That's what I wish the V12 was, but it's one for speed, and then you can't you feel like you're on a 16X.
Yeah. So, guys, in case you don't understand, new riders, just so you know, this is an experienced rider, way more experienced than me. He's like one of the
I'm a
top
casual.
riders.
I
So
don't know what he's talking about.
he is. So the advice he's giving you is valuable. So if you go out there and you buy a wheel that's a KS20, it's your first wheel, it's not recommended. You know, you could do it. You can do whatever you want.
You
but
can follow your dreams.
yeah, follow your dreams, man. But the proper advice is to get a less, expensive wheel that you can get a lot out of, because there is a lot and that's what I like about these new wheels. They literally introducing entry level, mid level, and true advanced. You know what I'm saying? Like truly advanced wheels. So we really
need more
beautiful.
We need more entry price.
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome. I want to see that,
dude. Thanks for chiming in. What kind of wheel? Sure. So, what kind of wheel do you ride right now, personally, on a daily basis?
I've got the EXN RS Torque and the RS Speed. And then I've got the Solo Wheel Extreme.
Oh, you have a soul.
I
Wow.
do. What was it? Rose from Yuko. She brought it to the still event back last year for West Wheel.
Mm.
Uh, I'm like, Rose, I hate this. I want it. So then I ended up picking it up from her. But anyways, RST I use for off-roading, jumping, whatever.
Mhm.
Uh, like skate parks, all that jazz. Uh, the EXN is for like high speed, longer rides, and then I've
Oh,
got
dude,
the
what do you think about the EXN? Because I'm not the type to go and get like a first generation wheel. I'm just not.
I've
Um,
got the first gen EXN. I don't regret anything.
but it's funny. I have the pre what is it called? I have
Pre-production.
the pre-production MSP,
Yeah.
and that wheel has been freaking tough. Like I put
Pre-production MSP.
pre-production MSP, dude.
It's hilarious because all our batch one MSPs back in Vegas are still perfectly fine in comparison to all the other ones.
That's crazy.
It's hilarious.
What the frick is going on?
They just made them better
They just
back
made
in the
them
day.
better, dude. And
Yeah.
that's crazy. But yeah, so I'm not one to get like a first generation wheel. So I'm really trying to consider
Yeah.
what other wheel I should get. And I'm
EXN.
thinking the EXN. I'm really thinking it,
Won't regret it.
but I think it was Marty that said the internals of the EXN is crap.
That's with the V2. The V1's not bad. People talk down on it, but keep the shroud on it because that makes a huge difference with cooling. I had a buddy who took out the shroud on the V1 version, or the version 1 of it, and then that ended up overheating like near instantly when we were riding in the summer. But and that's our like biggest summer being like 110 plus 115 degrees out.
Yeah, but you've had other wheels that never burnt out, right?
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Yeah.
But again, the EXN is a great time. Hollow motors are seriously underrated. People keep talking about him and saying that everybody has a bearing issue, but they're not all bearing issues. A lot of them are motor covers, and that's a QC issue on its own. But then with the motor cover, you can reposition it and theoretically be able to get the knocking noise to go away. And then in that, if you can silicone that in place, and then you don't have to worry as much.
One last question for you about the EXN.
Yes.
Dude, thanks again for chiming in. This is
for sure,
valuable information, guys. Valuable. The EXN has a 2,700 watt hour battery, right?
Yeah.
I watched Alien Ride's review, and a lot of the guys, they're big build, they're small build, and they're all saying weird ranges, like anywhere from 30 to 40 to 50, depending on how you ride. Hard riding usually like 40.
Are you talking about range?
Yeah, range. Like, why is it so?
It's how you push it. It's how you push it. That
But
goes with anything. You go with a Sherman and you're going fast with it. It turns into a 20-mile, 30-mile wheel.
I mean, okay, that's a good point because I guess
the difference between riding 30 and 35, or honestly like 35 and 40. Those are huge differences.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're going faster pace, then you're gonna burn way more battery for sure.
Yeah, no, you're right because the MSP, the spec says 60 miles, but I barely get that. Barely. I'm a hard rider. I ride to a
exactly. Yeah. Yeah, so, it's fun to push it.
Yeah, I never get
within reason.
Anywhere near that.
Yeah, I get you, bud. It's if you're pushing the wheel within logical reason, then you don't have that much to worry about.
So 2 more questions, please. The first one is the fan with the Commander. What's up with that? Why is it so loud and consistent?
I mean, that's every Gotway as of recently. All the fans have been Dyson vacuums. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, the fan it's loud, but it's okay. I mean, if you look at the placement of it, it kind of makes me happy because it looks like there's like a ram air kind of deal, where it's like a little hood scoop, and then you have all the air being encouraged to go underneath the heatsink and then out the back, it makes sense. It's like the Sherman. But yeah, we'll see what happens.
And then the final question, maneuverability. That's the most important question for me because when I was with
which Sherman, one? For EXN?
For the Commander. No, I know
Commander.
The EXN.
Okay.
good. But
The XN's beautiful.
yeah, and so the Sherman, for example, that the tire it had, I felt it hindered my ability to maneuver the way I wanted. First, I didn't even have it for more than a week anyway. But
Yeah, because you didn't put a street tire in the Sherman.
yeah, oh my gosh, it was terrible, like horrible.
Throw
So
a
the
street
Commander,
tire on, you'll think of it differently.
do you feel like the Commander has the same issue?
I mean, you have that little bit of pedal dip, which pisses me off, but that goes with any wheel or any Gotway.
Maneuverability wise, is the Commander good?
It handles beautifully, bud. Have you seen my little Instagram clip the other day?
No, I don't really pay attention, but I will.
Check it out. I'm throwing it around a little bit, and it's a fun one. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because that's what you do. You throw around wheels. So if you can, if
you can jump a Monster Pro, then you can do anything.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, and this guy jumped a Monster Pro. Hey, thanks for chiming in, man. I really appreciate it. Chiming
Glad
again.
to be here.
Guys, this is Law. Okay, check out it. You have a channel, right? You have a YouTube channel?
It's starting up. I'm literally gonna work on a video, or pretty much edit a little rant of me talking about the Commander later tonight. But yeah, Banana and Happy on YouTube is what it's gonna be. Yeah, it's that slightly phallic, but it's hilarious in that way. But then yeah, if not there, then if you got Instagram, Relaxturbation.
Right, Relaxturbation.
Yeah, or just search up Lawlax, you'll find me.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll see me around. I show up in random people's YouTube channels. I don't really.
I get in contact with you, coach, to say, hey, can you please send me some wheels?
Yeah, hit us up. Give us the email.
I don't even know how to get in contact with you guys. How do you do that? Instagram?
Email. There's just go on the website, hit them up on email, and then we'll make things happen from there.
Cool. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah,
dude, thanks, man. I really appreciate you chiming in.
Sorry I didn't make it to the Wheel Life Rally last one. I was going to.
People were asking, like, hey, was Law there?
Erwin told me last minute that it was happening, and I just got back from West Wheel, so I'm like, nah, I can't exactly make it because budget constraints and all random the usual.
Yeah.
But next time I'll try.
I was late for the flat track again, so.
Nice. I think you should keep that up for like every year. Just hit up Erwin, cry about it, and say, "Hey, my lady told me that I have to be late this time again for insert reason."
Late for the flat track, man. That's what I prefer, and I'm late for it every time.
Keep it up. Make it a ritual. It might help you in the long run.
It might help me in the long run. That's hilarious. Law, thank you, man.
Yeah,
have a good night.
Sure. Good talking, bud. Take care.
Sure. Take care.
See ya.
That's cool, man. Yes, guys. So that is Law. In case you don't understand, Law is the bomb. So go to Relaxturbation on Instagram, Relaxturbation. And I'm not sure what his YouTube was. You can rewind the video. I think it was Banana or something like that. But Law, you can put it in the chat. But either way, this gentleman is amazing rider. He's an amazing rider. You can learn a lot. He knows how to carve, knows how to jump, and he's just good, okay? I learned from him. I learned from Chooch. I learned from Tashawn. No longer Tashawn is here, but I learned from a lot of people, and this is definitely one of them, okay? So, yeah, man, his name is Law. So, that says a lot right there, right? He is the law of the EUC world. That's crazy. But I'm glad he chimed in. Let me see some of your comments, guys. Let me see some of your comments. When knowledge speaks, wisdom listens. Thank you, Law. I know. He's really humble and very knowledgeable. Which company does he believe? Oh, sorry, guy. He's gone. Which company does he believe changed the game for the modern EUC? That would have been a good question. Honestly, I think it's the King Song. I think. If you look at Gotway, they're doing the same thing they've always done. If you look at In Motion, they're really trying. They're not doing anything innovative. They're just doing what everyone else is doing, and they're trying to satisfy everybody's needs. If you look at Sherman, the Abrams is not really revolutionary at all. In fact, it's a step back in my opinion. And if you look at Gotway with the Hero, that's revolutionary for Gotway, to be honest, because for once in a blue moon, you have Gotway actually listening to what people have to say by producing stuff like good. The price is terrible, but they did it, so you can give them that. V2 is much better, and yeah, man, I can't wait to experience that EXN, like 2,700 watt hours, man. That's beautiful, because I want portability. That's the thing about me. I want portability. You know what I should have done? I should have kept him on here and then let him leave when he wanted to, because I have more questions. But the portability is what I'm concerned about. These wheels are huge, but as great as they are, my concern is portability. See, in my situation, I live in an apartment, okay? And I'm not sure where a lot of you live, but I live in an apartment. And so my concern with these wheels is being able to carry it up at least one flight of stairs, okay? A lot of you probably have homes with garages, so these wheels are not going to be a problem. But like Law said, I don't recommend any of these wheels to new riders. You have way more wheels you could buy for the price of, you could buy 2 wheels for the price of one of these wheels. You know what I'm saying? So scratch one of those 2 wheels you could possibly buy instead of just buying one of these new ones and messing it up for yourself. That's just my opinion. Louis B, I guess I'll be going to Pepperworks in San Francisco for training because I put pre-order a KS20. Are you a new rider, Luby? We just happened to cross paths at this. New Luby, are you a brand new rider? Because if you're a brand new rider, you should just get the S18. I'm playing. Get something less. But that's just my opinion. I'm just being harsh here, guys. I'm trying to be harsh because I don't want you to be disappointed, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm not here to ride the train at all. Yes, true on eating battery life. Yeah, I mean, that's, I guess. But, you know, I guess I'm just going to have to bring my... I work about 15 minutes away, and most of that is stretch. It's just stretch. So if it was 15 minutes away, which is, I don't know, 15, how many miles is it? I don't remember. I think it's like maybe, I don't remember how many miles, but if it was like stop and go traffic, I would be fine with that. But stretches, dude, where you don't see a light for like blocks, you know what I'm saying? Like blocks. That's my main concern. Now, going with the Commander, with the EXN is not going to be a problem. I think I could like blow 45, 47, 48 miles an hour with the high speed Commander going to work. No issues. But on my way back is what I'm concerned about. I mean, there's going to be traffic anyway, so maybe I shouldn't be that concerned. But we'll see. We'll see. Hi, just arrived. What are you saying? Just arrived. Who is this person with UStride? That's Law, man. That's Law. Okay. Law is like a very experienced rider in the EUC world. He's not very loud, so you don't really hear about him a lot, but he's very experienced. Okay. There's so like I said, there are many experienced riders out there, guys. Just because we don't see them on YouTube doesn't mean they don't exist. There's a lot of guys out there who have valuable information. So if you rewind this video, definitely take these gems that he gave. Okay. He's a Vegas rider. He's in Vegas and he rides a lot off-roading. So he does jumps. I mean, when he came to Boston and we went off-roading, he made the off-roading look like a piece of cake. You know what I mean? And meanwhile, my legs were like noodles, you know, so I had a lot to learn. Yes, he's a Vegas rider. Yes, drop his Instagram page. All right, let me do that right now. Hold on. Let's do that, shall we? Where is Instagram? Am I on Instagram? Oh, man, I am on Instagram, but let me see. Instagram. Law. Wait, what was it again? A relaxation. There it is. So this is his. Let me share this with you guys so you can at least see his Instagram, and then you can follow him and you can ask him questions yourself. So this is his Instagram. Check it out. Okay. Check out his page. It's very helpful to get information from experienced riders, guys. Like, I know it helped me out a lot, especially in the purchasing area. So whenever man, my first wheel was a V5. And I thought that was the fastest thing I've ever experienced because I don't walk at 13 miles an hour. So when I started riding at 13 miles an hour, man, I had my helmet. I had everything. Like, you should have seen me. I was like, woo, like 13 miles an hour. Oh my gosh. Looking back, that was funny, man. But to me, it was fast because I've never gone that fast, like consistently. But a lot of these guys at that time helped me make proper decisions. I didn't rush into it over the craze, over the hype, nothing. I took my time. But there was a drawback. I bought a V5 when I should have bought a V5F or a V8. You know what I'm saying? That was just me being scared, you know? So if you're going to buy a brand new wheel, try to buy a wheel that will help you grow. Okay? Not one that you could just get rid of in like 6 months or less. Get something like, for example, if you're absolutely brand new and you don't plan on doing more than 30 miles an hour and you live in the city or you live somewhere that's not so far, 16X is a great wheel. The V11 is a great wheel. The V12 is a great wheel. The V11 and the V12 are also big, tall wheels, so I kind of don't recommend them. But these are good questions to ask Law. V8 is a very good wheel to learn on. I like the 16X because I've taught many people on the 16X. It is a tall wheel. It's very advanced, but it's a wheel you can grow with. You can absolutely grow with that wheel. 30 miles an hour is a lot of speed for a brand new rider, and I think that will take you pretty far. Also, in motion, Kingsong is one of the safest electric unicycles out there with the tilt back feature, so you can't turn that off. Whereas with Gotway, if you're a brand new rider and you're riding a Tesla, for example, which I also recommend a Tesla, but something to keep in. Let me see, is that Law again? All right. Hey, Law, I think people have more questions for you, man.
Okay, yeah, I heard you talking about teaching wheels.
Yeah.
And then V10F is my favorite thing to teach on.
The V10?
V10 and V10F.
I thought the thing was like top heavy.
It's top heavy, but the thing is, what happens is when you're mounting on your wheel, where does your leg make contact with?
The bottom ankle. Oh, what do you mean? Like the thigh
Where
area?
your thigh, or not your thigh, but your leg, your like
leg,
your shin, your calf.
Yeah,
It usually makes contact with the center portion of the wheel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that because you have a taller wheel, it allows you to more easily get your foot or get your leg in that center point.
Okay.
Like if you look at people carving at high speed, if they're mounting, dismounting, their legs always in that position. So then that's something to always note.
So you said the V10, V10F. What other wheels do you recommend for new riders?
16X debatable.
Debatable, dude. Do you know how many people I taught on the 16X?
I teach a lot of people too, but what happens is because the wheel is chunky up top, you end up having to either tell them to space their feet out to that wider position. I'm constantly freaking talking about the triangulated stance, but it's true. So when you're standing on it, you want your legs to be straight and naturally straight, not like bowed out.
Right.
Yeah, like all new riders that I end up teaching, they end up wobbling around everywhere. And then if you tell them to space their legs out a little bit, it makes a huge difference.
Makes a huge difference. I recommend people do that too.
Yeah, that's why I think skinnier wheels are great, because they're ergonomic.
Real Talk asks, have you ridden the MSS? If so, what do you think about Wrong Ways Review?
I haven't ridden the MSS. What did they change?
And we wouldn't be able to, right? Because it's in Europe.
Yeah, it's expensive if we ever get it shipped over here. Did they do anything with the control board? Is it programmed? That's something I would want to note. Because if it's the same control board as everything else and it just has a different battery, then it's probably the same thing as a regular MSS, or MSP. But I'm hearing otherwise, so I can't say anything until I'm on it.
I can't find the question, but Real Talk also had asked another question. There it is. Which company do you believe changed the game for the modern EUCs? I say the Kingsong.
I messaged down the way a little bit. It depends on what category we're talking about. If we're talking about just like high speed or overall, then you have Gotway, who's willing to just push that, and even though it's not necessarily the safest thing to do. Kingsong and InMotion, the amount of safety that they put out it makes me happy.
Okay.
I like seeing that.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's not like anything crazy in terms of like game-changing type stuff. InMotion's air suspension makes me happiest out of all the suspensions right now. Gotway's EX, I think they stopped selling it. I think mostly because it's unreliable and it's hard. They're hard to maintain.
And it makes no sense.
Um, yeah, but then yeah, S18, it's pretty. I like the design. I'm happy that they're carrying that over to the S20, but it's really clunky, and I don't like the chunking
Yeah,
sound
man.
every time.
I rode the S18 at the Wheel Life Rally. There's someone I trained who graduated
Yeah,
to the S18. I might end up getting it from him, but
graduated.
yeah, because he came from a much smaller wheel, like a
Okay,
14E. You
all
know what
right.
I mean? Yeah. So you're like graduated.
Yeah,
Because what I did was I rode the V12 and I rode the S18 with him.
I
Like
did.
he was on the, I gave him the V12 and I took the S18 just to see, because I'm better than him. So I'm like, let me see if I can push
Okay,
it, catch him.
sure.
And man, that S18 was beeping the whole way and he wasn't even moving
Yeah,
that fast.
yeah, yeah. The S18, I get worried when people are riding like over 25 miles an hour because if you crank it too hard, then it has a much higher likelihood of cutting out versus other higher speed wheels
Yeah, and
because
that's
that
due to the battery, right?
the lack of battery that's what makes it concerning.
Yeah. So this person says, baby boy says, I'm looking for portability myself now in the range. Hold on. There's another question that actually connects with that from
Sure.
Shane's Planet. Shane, it says, batteries are killing the portability. No way around it with current tech.
I agree.
Yep.
It's hurting us a little bit. I want to see my current dream wheel that I want to see next is an MSP RS competitor that allows us to jump and do things reliably. So I want to see a hollow motor because the 8 points of contact for the axle make it way
Mhm.
safer and
Mhm.
less. There's no axle snaps. Um, on top of that, a lighter wheel would allow you to bring it up in the air higher. It would push the envelope, but I would also want it to be like perfectly tuned, like a King Song or an In Motion. So
Right.
then,
Yes, man.
in
Good.
doing
Well
so,
said.
that would allow for so much capability, and yeah, it'd be safe. And I want to see
So
that.
King Song came out with this. No one has explained it, but it's the software technology that it came up with called Hall sensorless technology
I'm
software.
looking forward to that.
Do you understand? Do
Uh,
you have any like internal information as to how this might work?
I forget I had a couple buddies who were talking smack about the lack like just running that algorithm makes more sense and then you don't have to worry about a tiny dinky Hall sensor because those wires are tiny. If anything wrong goes with those, then you're going on the ground. Uh,
So my thing was, and also they talked about. So okay, cool. So they talked about because I don't see how it would work in terms of software, except for how you mentioned it.
yeah,
Um,
right.
but they also mentioned that they had 12 MOSFETs. When I looked at the
You
S18,
don't need more MOSFETs. You need bigger ones.
you need big. And that's what I
From
was.
what I'm noticing. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking. I was thinking maybe they added just more in parallel, or because the thing is, you've heard of redundancy technology, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I thought maybe that's why they added more MOSFETs.
Yeah. I'm hearing that, and then yeah, a lot of people that are also talking to me, they tell me that they need bigger MOSFETs, not just more.
Not just more,
Uh,
exactly. Yeah.
yeah, it's like you're sicking like you think about it, if you have to fight like 20 kindergarteners, you're gonna have a way better time fighting those kindergarteners than you would like or 20 kindergarteners versus like 5 13-year-olds. Like sure there's less, but then you're going to completely demolish the young ones because there's not much to fight against.
Right. So
Yeah,
you're talking about power drain, right?
I'm
Like
talking about power drain and what the switches are able to handle.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So with the same with the capacitors. Like for example, the moment my wheel blew up with the capacitor, a bunch of people sent me pictures of like some type of Japanese made capacitors that use for like audio. That's
Oh yeah.
has higher capacity because I think this one's like 750 microfarads or something like that.
Ah,
But why don't they just add more stuff? You know what I'm saying?
I couldn't tell you.
I mean, is it because it's mostly tested by Asians, by you know,
Sure.
because they're lighter?
My guess is laziness, and it's like or for Gotway, like this is like so issue doesn't work, then let's just move on to the next project and hope that one isn't as much of an issue,
Mhm.
rather than like upgrading the situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's how I feel about the hollow motors. I feel like they're just hiding from fixing the hollow motors rather than actually just going back and all that. There's so much that can be done.
Yeah. So this guy Shane's Planet, he makes a very good point, and I think you would agree with him. He says EUC industry is odd. Bigger and more expensive and newer don't mean better. Newbies should invest in comfy, proven. That's hard to fight against the hype right now.
I agree. Everything's hype because it's faster, and that's not how it should be. We need wheels that can handle a hit, not just the Sherman, because the Sherman has way more issues in terms of design, and I don't know. There's so much that can be done.
Mm-hmm. What do you think of the Hero?
Stupid.
Yeah.
Why would you buy an RS with a little bit of extra suspension for double the price?
For $4,000. That makes no sense.
2 RS or an RS that's pretending to be an 18XL.
That makes absolutely no sense to me. So I have some stats here, and it's very interesting. I said so I was just trying to look up the average carrying weight of an American. You know what I'm saying? Because
carrying weight of an American.
Well, like what they can carry, the average
sure.
they can carry, but not bench press, just carry. It says the base starting point.
So we're not benching EUCs on a regular basis.
Yeah, a basic starting point for one person should be able to lift an object weighing up to 51 pounds. If the object is within 7 inches from the front of his body or her body, if the object is at waist height and directly in front of the person, if there's not any twisting involved.
I like how distance is a factor, and they put in all the extra variables. It's cool.
Yeah, because when you carry an EUC, dude, it's not like a suitcase. You're not right. You're literally bending over. You're like twisting.
Of course, it makes sense.
Yeah, so a lot of these wheels, in my opinion, I mean, I don't know, man. Like, I just think it was a natural thing to go in that direction because we want more speed, we want more range.
Yes,
it was just natural. It was just gonna go there anyway, given lack of better battery technology.
Right. Yeah. You think about motorcycles, it's the same thing. I mean, nowadays with it being so diluted, you end up having people who are putting in the better effort towards ride feel rather than just throwing out whatever, or rather than throwing out the fastest thing. But in EUC world, right now we don't have as many options still because we only have 5 companies. If there were more companies to compare to, then eventually they would start working on ergonomics and all those little details that make that difference.
Yeah. It's kind of funny because they're going into territory of like electric bikes and electric scooters now because
they are.
I mean, the whole point of the EUC was to be portable anyway.
Yes.
And if you look, I did a little comparison here. You have the weight of electric bikes. So, how much does an e-bike weigh? And electric bikes are 40 to 50% heavier than traditional bicycles, but are considerably lighter than motorcycles, obviously. An average electric bicycle weighs around 40 to 50 pounds. A typical,
Yeah, with the EUC, we don't really have that much compared to. I mean, an acoustic unicycle, that one's going to be way lighter.
Yeah, no one's going to ride that. And then you have a scooters that's way less. So now they're really competing with alternative. Not that I don't think they wanted to, but now because there were a lot of people who, were like a lot of people try to make decision between the EUC and a bike, or because look, the bike is safer, the scooter is safer.
Yes,
you know what I mean. Yes,
they're on a single. All unicycle riders are idiots because we're only relying on a single control board, and there's no fail safes on top of that.
Yeah.
But we're all great because they're fucking fun. By far,
we have a lot of test data to go by. The Fuzz says this is the wheel I've been dreaming of. It's the wheel KS has been wanting to make since the S18 was so popular, and really that's what it is. The S18 was, in my opinion, a pilot, and they did a great job with that. But when they brought out the sample, the prototype, and I saw that the colors were not right, they didn't really do much testing. The thing I feel is still in production.
Oh, it feels lackluster at most. I mean, when I was doing the whole V11 commercial video thing with InMotion and Yuko.
Uh-huh.
I tried the S18 for the first time because they were both available there, and after 2 seconds of riding it, I instantly went back to the V11 for multiple reasons. With like the torque is about the same, but again, that battery and all just the general ride feel, the V11 had more potential in my eyes. Yeah.
So one of the issues I was concerned about with the bigger wheels is stopping and maneuvering. That's the main thing. Now,
Yeah.
I got this video, let me see, and crashing, because when you crash with a little EUC, all
It's
that's
more
going to happen
expensive.
huh?
It's more expensive to fix an EXN.
Yeah,
than
and
it is an
when you
RS.
fall with a smaller EUC, it falls on you. You're not gonna break anything that much. But look at this guy right here.
Yeah.
Look at this guy. Hold on.
What do we got?
He's slowing it down, but it's a monster.
Who is that?
I have no idea who that is. But
Is that Yoshi?
The guy crashed on the street, man. Oh, what is? Yeah, there.
Oh, it's Yoshi. He was
it's
driving an RC car.
You
That's
automatically knew that was.
Yeah. I'm at Yoshi.
He crashed on the
Stop
street.
driving the RC car while
I mean,
riding.
come
It's
on,
not
man.
safe,
Like,
especially in traffic. I
that
get
was
it.
the
It's cool.
first
I love RC cars. I might be going to this bass track on Sunday, but it's just putting other people at risk. And yeah, I don't know. It depends on the situation. For like a closed environment, by far, riding EUC and RC cars is awesome because line of sight, cars disappear from you, and having a wheel that can follow is pretty cool.
Well, the benefit. Okay, so I posted some questions here, but so for example, questions. Well, let's go right here first. Let's go right here first. So
Sure,
this
bud.
is the. Let me share this real quick. Hold on for a second. Let's just look at this screen here with the S20, because there's a lot of information here to digest with the S20. Hold on for a second. Since it's the most popular one, I mean, the Commander seems to be, what you see is what you get, right? Is there anything special we need to know about the Commander?
The handles are sharp.
What do you mean, like sharp as in like it can cut you?
Yeah.
What?
It was a little bit of an oversight from what I'm looking at, but it's not bad. It could be worse.
The fact that it's bad is bad already. You're telling me like if you hold it the wrong way, you could get cut?
I mean, it's not like I wouldn't say it's gonna cut you, but it's like it's an awkward pressure that you're not entirely happy with. But again, just like Sherman handlebars, you can easily add like tennis grip, or I guess what else have been people using? Handlebar grip with like the bicycles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that kind of stuff.
Interesting. And it's a heavy wheel. So, but then again, are you talking about like the two handles, the front and the back?
The two, those.
Ooh, that's bad.
Yeah. It's like it's not bad. I mean, you're not gonna lift it forever, but I mean, for that.
You know what
stint,
people are gonna
like,
do?
why?
They're just gonna wrap it with like some type of rubber
bar tape.
Yeah.
Yeah, bud.
So if we look at the KS20, let me just look at the specs, because I wanted someone who knows about specs to go over this with me.
Sure.
So in my last live, I talked about like progressive versus linear suspension. The V11, the V11 and the EX were both linear suspensions. It's just air up and down pogo stick type stuff.
EX had barely any travel. The only perk of it was just reducing some of the initial impact. Which and
the S18 did a lot better. Obviously, it was non-linear, obviously, but the travel was still 100 millimeters, which is like, when you compare it to bikes,
it's something.
It's something, exactly. But this right here is intense. This is like mountain biking territory, you know. So as someone who's done off-roading before, how much of a difference is 130 millimeters, dude? Which is basically mountain biking.
Not much
level, dude.
I mean, look at all the. I mean, as far as EUCs go, what is everybody riding right now?
What do you mean?
Like as far as like the bigger jumpers and stuff, like people who are doing off-road, what do they usually ride?
I would
Like
say
Leahy, what does he ride?
non-suspension EUC.
There you go. It's like
Yeah.
it's the whole hardtail versus suspension wheel type deal.
Hmm.
You get more benefit out of having the suspension in certain instances. Like jumping off a flat ground, you'll be able to get more vert with an RS than you would S18.
Yeah, but the argument I would make about that is that the reason they're riding non-suspension EUCs right now is because there's no suspension EUC with the power or speed, to or the motor power to handle
There's
the
that.
jumps. Because when you
But then-
jump, I always say like torque is not necessarily just for acceleration. It's also for when you jump and land.
Right.
You need that thing to hold you back.
But then when you're jumping off of a flat, it's also dependent on the kind of jump. So if you're just jumping off of a flat, then the suspension ends up kind of eating some of the jump that you're trying to do. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
No,
I get it. It also helps with traction.
Yeah.
But I get what you're saying.
But if as far as like regular jumps go, like say in Utah or Seattle, the jumps that Leahy has and he's finding, those things are so smooth. I'm so jealous. I want to hit those for sure. One of these days I'll hit up Seattle or Portland or wherever they're riding. But yeah, having smoother jumps, it allows you to not have to worry about like lifting the wheel up. So then that helps. So then that becomes the factor of how can I find, or that's when the suspension really kicks in and softens the blow on your knees.
Well, that's why I think this particular suspension is like revolutionary, because it's not that they made it. It's just that they took something off the shelf that a lot of bikers and people who do off-roading use. Because what I understand about because this is a progressive suspension. What I understand about progressive suspension is that there's there's pretty much two spring ratios in one. And that helps because if you want to go in nice, beautiful terrain to handle New York bumps, you could do that. And then if you want to go off-roading, you could do that as well.
For sure.
And the travel, in my opinion, the 130 millimeter travel, because if you look at Chooch, I look at Chooch videos, right? And even your videos and even Alien Rides videos when it first came out.
Yeah.
Every time you guys did a jump and you landed, I always heard a thump.
Yeah.
So that wasn't that like you guys bottoming out?
It could be a lot of things. Sometimes if the battery is not perfectly secured, it can be the battery chunking around. It could be wires, but yeah, there's a lot of tire depression and the rim touching the ground if you're not riding with high PSI.
And
I get you. Yeah, for sure. In terms of doing that, if you're doing stair mobbing, you're jumping an 8-step, it's nice to have.
Yeah, man. So that's what I think. I think you're gonna like this wheel, man. That's just
for sure. I put my money down already, and I'm waiting. Yeah, but
you did not say that earlier. If you said it, I don't remember you saying that.
Sorry, I didn't say that earlier, but that's happening. The S20 is happening for me, and I'm beyond excited for it. Mostly because of high torque and good tune.
And this guy has his money on the KS22.
High torque and good tune is what I want. That's all I need. I was so disappointed when the EXN torque version was literally just an RS motor.
Right.
Like they should have thrown on the 3500 watt motor like the EX. But no, I don't know. I think they're idiots.
No,
not doing that.
Bunny Slippers is saying the S20 won't be a speed wheel. Performance, hopefully.
Oh, definitely not.
But I disagree, though. Because isn't it 44 miles an hour?
43. But is it gonna be a real 43? How hard can you really push a 16X? Nobody's really hitting that 31.
What do you mean?
Unless you're going downhill.
I hit 30 with the 16X.
Yeah, I hit 32. But at the same time, you look at it on a consistent basis after 95%, and you're pushing it. It's not gonna let you hold that on a regular basis, you know.
I mean, what's disappointing with this particular wheel is that you have this massive wheel with a peak power of 7,500 watts.
Yeah, it's great.
Obviously, the rated is 3,300, but because you're not going to be using that peak like that. But the battery is surprising. It's a little bit over the MSP, 1,800 watts. It's 2,200.
I'm for it.
That's crazy.
I'm totally for it.
But I don't understand. Shouldn't it be a little more to handle that weight? Because if you're
do that, then you're adding more weight. If you do that, then you're adding more battery, and then that just makes, because you have to fit the cells somewhere.
Mhm.
So then that could mess up the shape of it.
So
Also,
then
I hate the power pad design, and the jump pad design make no sense to me. But
I agree because the
like I under it, there's a wedge and there's a
Mhm,
heel portion you're gonna be able to help lift up on, which is great,
mhm.
but it can be improved on. The power pad is okay, but I would drop it a little bit because legs don't entirely bend that way. And then
Right.
the brake pad is way too far back. It should be a little bit closer to the midpoint, because the most optimal braking is when you're getting your legs to squeeze the midpoint of the wheel and
Mhm.
then squeeze and then pull back.
Right.
If your legs are too far back and those brake pads are encouraging farther back pinching, then that can induce wobble.
So, that's another thing. Wobble.
Yeah,
So let me ask you this: because these wheels are so heavy and tall, um,
it's
do
not
you
an
think
issue. The issue is that it's chunky up top.
that's the reason it would wobble?
You think about Nikola riders.
Yeah, but the Nicola is definitely top heavy. This wheel,
It's not just that. It's the shape, bud.
the shape of it,
The shape of it.
hmm. Hence why the Commander, because the Commander is a box basically.
Yeah, I don't agree with it.
I don't agree with the Commander. Let me see. So there's a question here from the Fuzz. He says the S18 is 31 and it tilts back at 31. Yeah, look at that 3300 watt, 123 specs. It's gonna happen, and it's gonna happen well. I think so, man.
It's gonna be great. I mean, you're gonna throw it around for sure.
I think it's gonna be able to do 44.
I think it can. I don't think it's gonna sustain. You're gonna get the tilt back, and
No, and that's what King Sung is known for, and I think that's a good thing,
yeah,
having that tilt.
I agree. Yeah. What I don't like is how aggressive the tilt back is on a King Song.
Mm.
My favorite tilt back is on the in motion.
Mm-hmm. Right. In motion is
When I was in what was it, Alabama Hills, California, recording for the V11 thing. I was flying at like maybe, what was it? It was around 30, 33, 34. And then I started getting like really heavy tilt back,
Mm-hmm.
but it was gradual. Like King Song, when it gives you tilt back, it's like F you, stop now.
No,
But
it's
then
true. Yeah, I really
in motion's like the, hey, you should stop, please. Okay, you're done.
In motion has the ability, in my opinion, because they have really strong motors.
Yes.
They have the ability to create a very powerful wheel, but they just don't. What's going on?
For in motion, I mean, I guess it's part fear.
Because
Because
they're
I mean,
they're a real company.
yeah, I mean, you think about in motion. Do you think about cutouts?
No, not even King
There
Song.
you go. There you
But not
go.
even King Song.
Then you think about Gotway, and it's cutout city.
I would have to say though, a lot of it is due to rider error. And
Oh, it's all rider error.
Yeah,
for sure. But it's
but you're
again,
right. You're right. One company is encouraging it, and the other is.
It's branding.
Yeah. Oh, dude, no one's talking about the Abrams. I think the Abrams of all is the worst wheel ever.
I think it's stupid. It's going to be a Monster V3 issue, because you look at the axle with it not being a hollow motor, everyone's going to break it.
And it's so huge, and it's meant to be an off-roading wheel.
It's a Monster V3 V2.
Wow. That's a terrible
with more. I don't think it's the worst, but I'm not going to get it for sure. And I don't encourage like local riders to get that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, especially for the price. Isn't that one 4,000 also?
I think it's close to there. Yeah.
Yeah, that hurts.
Another thing I mentioned is that the S20 has all these moving parts, and it's an off-roading wheel. I mean, do you see that being an issue, man? Like when you crash, is this thing?
I'm gonna hate repairing those.
Yeah.
So I'm one of the main guys that fixes people's wheels in town, and yeah, I don't look forward to it.
Wow.
Like
because you see it,
the S18s. Yeah, even with Yuko, one of the highest braking wheels is the S18, and that thing's stupid to work on. Yeah, people don't talk about that.
I knew. When I went to the demo in New York, dude, that's the first thing I noticed. And you know what they said is what my guess is? they were the S20. My guess is they were just like, get rid of the body.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Let's not fix it. Let's just get rid of it.
I would honestly only buy it for the body because it's pretty.
Right.
But then,
Yeah, but then you don't want to drop it because all these parts don't look so solid.
oh, for sure. Yeah, things break extremely easy on the S18.
This person says, I think Loy's right. Thick wheels are, I'm not sure. I think
Thick
it's
wheels are
and wobbles.
ergo. Maybe not ergo. Is it text to speech? Possibly. I don't know.
Maybe.
But yeah, they're not ergonomic. If that's
Not
what he's aiming at.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, unicycle companies nowadays need to figure out some sort of ergonomics.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't really care about it. It
Do
was
you-
like the my most hated thing, or was the remember the Gotway pads, not the recent ones, but not the recent stock pads, but the ones prior to that,
Yes.
where the power pads and the brake pads were both vertical, as if legs bending forward are supposed to make contact with only a corner of a pad.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
That's just rush design.
it's just, yeah, there's no logic behind it, and
Yeah.
I'm sure the engineers don't really ride.
People were just complaining about how thin the pads were, so they were just trying to respond.
For sure. Yeah.
Real Talk says, do you feel comfortable with the S20's claim without having a product? I don't.
I do. If Jackie's reinforcing it, I trust him. I look forward to
It
it.
could just be a marketing ploy. I mean, you see Jack, because a lot of people were like, wow.
He doesn't work with him anymore. And he admitted everything with it, and just he's talking honestly with it.
I'm just trying to be the advocate because it's like, you know.
I get you. No, for sure. Yeah, all wheels can be complete garbage.
But Kingsong has never disappointed for the most part, except for the 50,
except for the
S18.
Damn S18.
Wow, what did I just say? I can't believe I just said that. You're right. You're absolutely right. Minus the S18, Kingsong has never disappointed except in the power, like the 50%.
Yeah. Right. For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking a lot of smack about the S18, but it's still a great wheel as far as like having a wheel that has good tuning.
That's weird. This person says, Jack from Kingsong said that it can hit 85 kilometers, which is 52 miles per hour with a load on EVX Stream. Now, here's the thing.
Hey.
That's what he said. Here's the thing. I know Gotway always does that. I know Gotway says a certain speed, and then you can push it a little more because of a buffer. I wouldn't be surprised if Kingsong does that too. And if they do, holy smokes.
Let's go safety.
Holy smokes. Because they're going to include that, the safety mechanism, which is the tilt back. They're probably going to add some type of 40% battery. What is it called again? I forgot.
Sag.
Yeah, the sag, the battery sag.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised, but I'm very curious.
I like the safety because what happens is, say like with Gotway and all that, once in a while I'll push like the 45 plus, or I mean I was riding 45 today, but I don't do that on an average basis. If I'm riding normally, I'll ride 35, 40 on an EXL.
Yeah, same here.
Which is way under. Because what I want to do is I want to be able to jump at 40 miles per hour and feel safe if there's any bump or anything like that. Like hopping over potholes and not having to worry about cutting out is a beautiful time.
The Fuzz says, I think KS learned a lot from the S18, obviously, and just perfected everything. Tilt back could be changed on app, and Kingsong could do 50 to. People are coming up with this crazy speed.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Where are you getting the speeds from?
They're not coming out with that. It would be awesome, and if they did, I'd be glad to.
That would be
wrong.
Yeah,
I want to be wrong about that.
Sin says, if that's true, I'll have and love mine come next summer. No, we haven't seen any riding videos. That riding video that Electric Dreams did was not a riding video.
That wasn't riding yet.
We need to.
I mean, yes, it was riding, but
yeah,
I want to see carving. I want to see someone throwing it around.
Right, throw it around.
That's going to be my judge.
I want to see dropping it. That's what I want to see.
Dropping
drop
it?
it.
That'd be
I want to see the dropping and this. They're not going to show that, but well, that's not true. If you look at the Fujiro's review when the S18 came out, he dropped it. Like he
for
crushed
sure.
that thing. So
How do you feel about the little dingle dangle in the back? Those
yeah, so let's talk about that.
that
I think
stand.
that thing right here, in terms of practicality, I think it's very practical for what its
I'm
purpose.
for it.
But here's the thing. Sensei Vegan mentioned, and I like the fact that it could possibly act as a mud guard. That's pretty cool.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, that's gonna be great.
But Sensei Vegan did mention, and we were talking about this part and the chamber on the top that's extremely exposed, whereas the S18 it wasn't so exposed. So if you do crash it and it falls on its back, it's a high.
How often does that happen, though?
No, you're right. But I'm just saying, if it does happen, it could be expensive fix.
If it does, then yeah, for sure. we'll just hope for the best.
Yeah.
Nothing like duct tape and extra padding can do.
I know, right? The fuss. Hey, for the Eagle, it looks like the kickstand will protect suspension. That's funny. Probably. I just want to see it in the real life, man. That's all it is.
Yeah. I look forward to seeing the Eagle and the Hero. The Hero because I want to make fun of it. The Eagle because I want to ride it.
I have this strange feeling the Hero will do better off-roading.
It's going to do better than the S18, guaranteed.
No, in terms of like just overall. So, for example, you can drop it and not worry about it.
We'll find out. If it's like cast aluminum, like our pedals, then there's going to be many potential cracking.
Yeah, Marty did mention that metal bends too. So
yeah. So that's we'll see what happens.
So let me give you since you're here, I was going to give this fire round to the people, but let me give you those fire rounds. Is having a heavier and faster EUC good thing and why? A good thing and why?
Having a faster and heavier EUC is a good thing?
Yeah, and why? Is it a good thing and why?
It depends on who's riding. It's if we get enough people that are more knowledgeable about ergonomics and wanting to improve this general riding feel, then that can be a great thing. But again, if you end up seeing people who are riding with there's different stances that can go into it. It depends on how people end up perceiving these things. If some company ends up making something that's way too wide up top and people start complaining about it on a large basis, then that's going to potentially change ergonomics. But I don't know. I just want to see people doing something more about the ergonomics. But having something that's heavy and fast is pretty cool.
I think for me, it's mostly good because I hate riding in the wind. And I like, even for my MSP, dude, when I'm in the wind, you see me like slow down drastically, and I'm just like,
how do you ride in the wind?
Usually I crunch down a little bit.
Yeah. Do you do the whole shoulder thing where you're like tucking in your shoulder?
I don't know. Maybe I do.
I do that.
But I definitely hate it. I hate the wind. Oh my gosh, I hate the wind.
Yeah, you also end up noting your ride style might be different. If you're doing if you ride heel toe, like if you ride with heel toe, then you end up having that same shoulder as your toe to carry forward.
Yeah, because really what you're trying to do is just reduce drag.
Yeah, so you're reducing drag, and then you also end up inducing like a very light, like subtle carve.
Yeah. Oh, really?
And then that's why if you look at your wheel while you're doing that, it's going to be on a slight angle.
So no, you're right. You're right. As a matter of fact, that's how I ride. Because I feel more stable when when one part of my wheel is hitting my leg,
and then pay attention to where your leg is on that wheel. I can almost guarantee that it's at that center point above the ground.
Right.
That's something that you should start preaching to people because it makes a difference.
It does, man. Especially for me, I've never had a wobble on a wheel except when I had way too much pressure. And when I rode the Nicola, I wasn't experienced on it, and I tried to go really fast over a bump, and man, that's the shape. Me off.
It's the shape, bud.
Yeah, it's the shape. Yeah, you're right. So cool. That was
whenever I have a Nicola, I take like a EVA foam, then I shim out the base of it so I can still have my feet against something, but then it's spaced out to make it safer.
Yeah, having your wheel on some part of your leg is definitely helpful.
Yeah, it's like if you're riding rollerblades, you want to have them strapped in and know where the rollerblades are or know where the wheels are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it helps.
Yeah, I have rollerblades. Next question. Was a heavier EUC inevitable from the start?
Yes.
Yeah. That's a simple answer. Mainly because of battery technology. It didn't go anywhere. I thought because you remember like Afiz went to China and then they were experimenting on these new batteries that could possibly be coming out. I forgot what it was, but
like graphene batteries.
Yeah, it's supposed to be lighter and output more power. That never happened.
But there's a whole bunch of companies that are constantly doing that. But again, you have to also consider mass production and can you pull that off while still maintaining that same quality?
Yeah, man, because I don't think it was. I think my answer is twofold. If battery technology could keep up, then clearly not. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, here's another one. What are some benefits to having? Well, we just mentioned some of that, but what are some benefits you can think of to having heavier wheels? Number one, the wind. Riding in the wind.
Yeah,
that's one.
If you get pushed, then you win. In comparison to, or pretty much, if you end up in like a one-on-one collision with another rider, then you have a higher likelihood of winning that collision. Or are you able to hear me right?
Wow. Yeah. Another thing I think is stability.
Because, stability for sure.
Yeah, because you have tiny wheels. You know what's funny? When I was trying, there was a guy. He bought a Sherman, and he wanted me to teach him on the Sherman as his first wheel. Now, what I noticed is when I train people on like an InMotion V8, they would kind of be off balance a lot because the base of the tire pressure was too high. Number one, and number two, the tire was curved, so they would always like kind of go back and forth. But on the Sherman, he was just solid. He was just like because the tire was so flat. You know what I mean? And I also thought it was because of the wheel, the size, but. Overall, it was really hard to teach him because he couldn't give it the thrust needed to go forward. So I put him on the 16X, and he like got it right away.
The V8, if you're teaching somebody on the V8 and they're wobbling, make them squat down a little bit because again, it's that leg positioning. If you're touching when you're on a V8 and your legs, if you're standing up more upright, you have a higher likelihood of having your legs on the back portion of the wheel, and then it's like trying to push a shopping cart wheel backwards, like the caster. If the caster is going backwards, it's going to wobble, and then it's going to want to flip around on it. So think of that, if anything.
So guys, try to take notes for tonight. Put a leg on your wheel. Put your wheel more.
At the middle of the wheel. Pay attention to those little things.
Okay. Is it easier to turn or maneuver on a heavier wheel than a lighter wheel? And this is like mostly for moderate to advanced riders. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. This one would be dependent on the ride height, the tire width, there's a whole bunch of different factors that can go into this. Like, say like the Monster Pro versus the Sherman. The Monster Pro can carve a circle easier than the Sherman, in my opinion, because you have the higher pedal hangers.
Right. But is it only because of the pedal?
Primarily, you end up having a higher CG or higher center of gravity.
Yeah, but when you turn, I watch some people turn. Like I used to watch Panda turn when he had and sometimes he looks like his whole body is getting involved.
Yeah. You have that, and then on top of that, you think about the pedal dip. When you're dipping, your leg constantly has to move positioning. You have to apply different pressure. You end up having to apply more heel pressure on the inside of the pedal or on the inside of the wheel when you're turning in to keep it from falling forward more.
Yeah, the Fuss called in the other day, and I watched some videos of people carving. So if you look, let me show you real quick. Okay, hold on for a second.
Are they carving in straight lines or are they like holding turns?
No, in a turn. Like some people do real deep turns, dude. Like
I love that. Yeah.
Hold on,
scraping all day.
Modern.
Let me just go. Right here. Look at these guys for a second.
They're going straight.
Hold on, look at it. Look at it. So you see how this guy has his leg?
Yeah.
Hold on. Just watch him for a second. Yeah. So you see that part of his leg. I don't know if you can
Look
see.
at the. I see exactly what you're talking about, but look at his outside leg. His outside leg is touching the
Oh, it's
midpoint
touching
of
the
the
wheel.
wheel.
Yeah.
The midpoint. It's that center, because otherwise
Yeah.
he'd be wobbling. His left leg can dangle wherever the hell it wants. But then
Ah.
as long as his leg's at that midpoint, and then on top of that, his heel and his ball of his foot have to be putting the same amount of pressure on the wheel.
Hmm.
And then if he's accelerating through the turn, then he's going to end up having to press in with the outside toe and then press in with the inside heel.
Huh.
You'll notice like little things like that, because you have to keep the wheel upright.
Mhm.
And then if he's riding like a king song or an in motion, that riding style ends up changing, where you end up stepping in with the inside toe and the outside heel.
Yeah, because this guy right here, I don't know if you can see my mouse, but this guy right there, the one in the front, he's riding a Z10.
Yeah. Yeah, the
And
guy riding in front, he's able to use, or theoretically he's able to use more of his inside toe to be able
his
to maintain the inside toe, because that allows you to maintain forward pressure.
Mhm.
So then you can power through the turn rather than try to keep the wheel from falling forward throughout that turn.
Yeah, because I tried doing what this guy in the middle is doing, and it's because look, watch what he's gonna do. He's literally gonna continuously take that turn until he powers out.
Yeah.
Look at that. That's wild, man.
It's great. That's how tuning should be.
Is that mostly due to his height?
soft mode.
Like he's not that tall.
No, it's not his height. It's not his height. It's the wheel. It's the way that the wheel's tuned. So if his like soft mode on, or pretty much it's pedal dip. If a wheel doesn't pedal dip, then you're not going to have issues in trying to have to restabilize the wheel the whole time you're riding it. Yeah.
Yeah, I got to practice that more, because I make a lot of sharp turns. I have my method. What I do is I go in a little closer to the curb so I don't have to compensate in any way.
Yes.
But what he's doing, if we were in a race, he would obviously win because he's not really losing much speed.
Because he's allowed to power through the turn because the wheel's not pedal dipping on him.
Yeah.
So he's able to carry speed.
That's crazy. I just wanted to show that.
Logic.
On a heavier wheel, that's, I mean...
The only reason that we have issues with the heavier wheels in that case is because of the pedal dip, and we're fighting that the whole time while we're turning.
Right. Interesting. So obviously, I would be able to do this on an MSP.
If you had a V1 or a V1 control board, then I'd say the different. Like with my original MSP, that thing, any race. So pretty much, there's a go-kart track out here in Las Vegas that ended up like being rented out to the one wheel guys. And then with one wheel guys, I ended up showing up because it was like all EVs, like electric skateboards, what's the Leaf Tech ones, the summer boards, that's what it's called. Yeah, you had all types of guys. But then on the go-kart track, I was using the EXN, the V12, my RS, and then I had my buddy with the MSP that I used to own. And that V1 motherboard was able to get a full second faster than any other wheel that I had, because it had torque and it had the better tuning where you'd be able to power through the turn without having to worry about dipping.
Wow, man. I gotta create a video on that. I'm sure Wrong Way already created a video on that, because
Wrong Way's talking about it. I'm glad that Wrong Way is starting to bring it up finally.
Really?
Yeah, like nobody talks about pedal dip, because you look at the New York guys.
You mean pedal dip through a turn, or just in general?
Through long turns, extended turns. Yeah, but that also goes with leaning forward for a long period of time. A lot of times people end up having to counteract that by not accelerating hard. Or when I'm riding my EXN, what I do is I'll put a lot of pressure in, and then I'll let off, and then I'll put a lot of pressure in, let off, because that has to restabilize the wheel.
That's typically how I ride. I try not to go like what that guy was doing. That's skills right there. Like there's
more to it than skill.
He pedal scraped. There was a part where he did it again, and V zoomed into him, and he actually pedal scraped, and you saw sparks. What I absolutely hate about cornering,
scraping the toe.
Huh?
Scraping the toe.
Not just scraping the toe. What happened to the guy in New York? What's his name? I forgot his name. But when he carved, he ended up catching like a dip in the road, and he crashed, and he ended up being out for like forever.
Yeah,
Forgot his name.
that's another reason why I'm a huge fan of good tuning and also pedals up, or like maybe like a degree or two up, because you end up either scraping the flat or you scrape on the heel. And that's safety all in its own. I mean, you take any flat panel and you end up, if there's like a rock, you don't want to hit the rock with the toe part. You want to be able to hit it with a heel part.
Exactly. Yeah. So you're saying that's tuning?
Yeah, it's tuning.
Well, for me, I have a 3. So what's tuning for you? For me, I have my pedals 3 degrees backwards.
Oh no, that's calibration versus tuning.
Okay. What's tuning?
So tuning is as in like the program of the wheel. The PID, pretty much the algorithm that the wheel is going at, where it doesn't want to restabilize as fast as it should be. Wheels need to restabilize and come back right away. Like if you feel the V12 at like full hardness, that thing doesn't drop. It doesn't like fall down. Even if you're like applying light pressure and you're doing a turn in a circle, you end up noticing with other wheels, you end up noticing the toe go down, and then you have to fight it.
Yeah. That's yep. So wait, so is that something you can tune, or are you just choosing a hard mode?
You can't. No, we can't do anything about it. It's all programming.
You just choose it hard mode then.
You have to go hard mode, but that only goes with King Song and InMotion. Gotway, Veteran, those guys all have serious pedal dip.
Well, the hard mode, yeah, you're right.
You can't avoid that, man. Like it reduces the suck, but the suck is still there.
Funny. That's a good point.
Yeah.
The Fuzz says, I can see in 20 years wheels that are the same size as motorcycle. Holy smokes. Gosh. I mean, geez, might as well go for a motorcycle.
I think the learning curve is way too high for us to ever become like street legal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one says, carving through turn is fun if you aren't entering it at max entry speed already.
Yeah, if you have good tuning, it's not that bad.
Man, I want to try that tomorrow. Like, seriously, I want to bring my wheel and get the first corner I can see, gear up, and just try it, because
you don't even need a corner. Just do a big, maybe 20-foot radius circle. You'll notice it. You'll notice that there's dip, and then take a 16X, and then take your MSP. It's a V2 motherboard, I'm assuming, and then just notice it. That you'll end up dipping way more with it, like even light pressure. You're gonna dip way more on the Gotway than you would the King Song.
The King Song, really. Entering turns, that is true, because the King Song also has this weird quirk that always tries to keep me up. That's why I never ride it in hard mode. I always ride it in soft or medium. Like this thing, no matter what I try to do, it tries to keep me up, dude. Like Gotway has freedom, and this thing
that's freedom in itself. Being able to having something that's reliable.
True.
Because at least that you have a constant. If you constantly have to readjust your foot position for a turn or something like that, then that can mess you up in being able to accelerate. Come out to Vegas, bud, and then we'll show you a bunch of
would like to come out to Vegas. I told my lady about it too, and she's like, "Oh, yeah, that would be great." So
do it.
Let's see. Entering turns on an EUC is like sport bikes. Pedal dip sucks, but it's easy enough to bend the knees to compensate as you accelerate. That's what accelerating.
It's not just bending the knees.
Huh?
It's not just bending the knees.
Well, yeah, as we saw in that video, there's a lot to it, man.
But yeah, bending the knees is a great time, and being able to hug the wheel, it's a great feeling.
Hug the wheel.
Yeah, on the outside leg. Hug the wheel on the outside leg if you're carrying a lot of speed.
Have you ever ridden with Tishan?
I haven't. I tried hanging out with him, but then he kept on flaking, or he stopped replying multiple times.
He's busy or something?
I don't know. Maybe he was talking smack, saying he's nice at Smash Bros, and I wanted to play him. So then I put a whole ass setup over to HQ. Never happened.
Oh, okay. Hey, he's probably just busy.
Yeah, he's probably busy. Yeah, he's got his own. Everybody's got their own life.
Yeah. So this person says my Sherman V2 also dips very weird. Well, the Sherman, that's just a Sherman thing. Like, I don't think that's gonna go away.
V2 feels way better than V1 though. And yeah, turning while sitting, it's so sketchy. You can't carry that much speed into a turn because you're gonna fall forward. It's stupid.
I've
It doesn't make
actually
sense.
with my 84 volt MSX, I was able to do that.
Yeah.
And you know how I did it? I grabbed onto, because I couldn't turn enough.
Yeah.
So I literally grabbed onto the wheel, pulled it this way, but my body was going this way.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was an
Sometimes what
it was an emergency situation. I didn't plan it. I just
While
didn't
riding
want to
seated?
fall. Huh? Yeah,
While seated?
seated. Yeah, seated,
yeah. So if I'm doing that, then what happens is I'll pinch, do the full squat. Or no, if I'm riding seated, then I'll pinch with the wheel. The way I have my pad set up is I can get my toes tucked under the jump pads at all times.
Mhm.
And then in doing so, that allows for me to be able to clamp my legs to the wheel and like both lean back and
Mhm.
do the whole grab on the nose part of the wheel. And then
Yeah,
you kind of like
yes, that's what I did. I was
twist
like,
it.
and this is why I liked the Sherman. This is why I absolutely like the
Yeah.
Sherman. It's kind of funny. They have everything you need to turn
Yeah.
properly, and then they have the low pedals and pedal dip, which cancels the whole point of the rail for me.
Yeah, the very first time I got in the Sherman, it was during like it was Marty's first Sherman demo, and I hated it within like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And I was complaining about the pedal dip, I was complaining about the roll bar being in the way. I was looking at the curb that I wanted to roll up and like bonk up a curb like a one wheel.
Yeah.
But then you're gonna roll in there, and then that's exactly what happened like a couple minutes later.
How much stock do you put in your pedal angle being calibrated backwards? For me, the reason I did that to begin with was because my 84 volt, because that's all I had at the time. I didn't have enough torque. So what I started doing was tilting it back because I saw Chooch doing it, and I was like, why is he tilt back so much? So I decided to try it on my,
It's for bumps.
Well, so again, I did it for acceleration because I realized I don't have to lean as much forward because it's already all the way backwards.
That too.
So this person is like, he rides at 2 degrees back on hard mode. Newest version isn't that bad. That's the Sherman probably.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, but again, like you think about the kind of, if you're hitting a bump, then you're gonna hit, and then your foot would end up either bouncing up or just staying on the wheel pretty much. Whereas if you're calibrated forward and then your foot is there, you hit the bump, then you're going to go forward. There's nothing else holding you except for maybe pedal spikes, but even so, that's not going to help that much.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I actually use my pads for that. You know, because you're already saddled in, so I'm not really concerned about that. But on my 84 volt, the tilt back definitely helped a lot. I don't really need it much for the torque, but I've gotten so used to it, I have it on my torque.
So because the 84 volt has a motor, you're able to overpower it way easier. So you don't have to worry about it as much.
This person says his 16, I'm guessing he's saying his 16X pedal dips on turns. Yes, it's horrible, man. It's
16X?
Terrible. Yes. That's it.
I
don't remember what mode I was in, but that thing dips, man.
Not in hard mode. Depending on
not in hard mode. Not in hard mode.
Yeah, that's the point. Yeah, ride hard mode, please. Because all riding soft mode, riding with crap tuning, you're literally just pretending that the motor is weaker than it actually is.
Right. That is true. Yeah. If you want to experience the full potential of your wheel, guys, I highly recommend hard mode. Medium mode is good too, but definitely not soft. For example, I was riding my Tesla. I was riding my Tesla when I was doing a video, and a car came behind me, but I didn't see it, so I tried to brake real quick because my car was right there. It was coming, and dude, I forgot I was in soft mode, so I jammed real hard, and you know what happened? The thing cut out and went in front of me.
Yeah, because it's pretending to be weaker than it actually give out on you.
That was nuts.
Right.
That was crazy. So there's a lot to learn. Hard mode is safe.
Torque is safety.
Yeah, torque is safety, exactly. And you're not going to experience the maximum torque the wheel has to offer in medium or soft, you know? So
yeah, exactly.
I was going to do something. Okay, so I'm not sure how much time you have. Please feel free to disappear whenever you want, okay?
No, I'm chilling, but I'm building little Tamiya car things. Awesome. Don't worry, I'm chilling.
So let me see what this video is here. This stream doesn't show me what I. Okay, not this one. Hold on.
right, so Fan Thomas wanted to see my.
So this guy right here, tell me what you think of this. I don't
Tim. I love Tim.
I don't subscribe to this, but
He's
you
an
gotta
awesome
know,
person.
you got to know your wheel. If you know your wheel in terms of torque, and this is why torque, and when I say torque, I mean this is why a good motor and battery is important. Because performing this particular action that this guy is performing is, especially without a helmet, is not recommended. But if you know your wheel really well in terms of its capabilities and its limits, hey, go for it. But let me know what you think of this right here.
All right, so Fan Thomas wanted to see my braking technique on the Monster. Here you go, buddy.
Yeah, looks about right. Clark bumpers make a huge difference with that.
What do you mean?
If you use Clark bumpers,
Mhm.
it gives you a whole like groove.
I mean, that's a fantastic method, but is it possible that he could cut out that wheel because of
Oh,
what
of
he's
course, of course.
But he knows it. He clearly knows his wheel.
Yeah, you have to fight. You're feathering it. You're feathering that little area where you're not going to cut out and die.
What do you mean feathering?
So I call so I'm a surgical tech by trade, and then there's before in the OR we used to call running or this like if we're doing a laparoscopic case, and then if we're or arthroscopic case, then we're pretty much running fluid through the hole
Mhm.
for a certain amount of time. You're pretty much feathering and controlling the
Okay.
amount of throttle. Yeah, you're playing on the in between where you're not flushing everything for no reason.
That's
And yeah,
this guy clearly, guys. Don't try to recreate what this guy's doing unless you know
Yeah.
your wheel. This guy clearly knows his wheel because he's a big guy. The Monster is known for cutting out. I don't even know what kind of monster that is. If it's the 84 volt, this guy has like, you know.
Oh no, he's on a Pro, bud. Or let me see that again. Do that
Yeah.
one more time.
Hold on. And it's one light. It's the one light.
Oh yeah, that's a V2 or a V1. Damn it, Tim.
Yeah, dude. This he knows what he's doing. This guy clearly knows what he's doing because that's
For
not
sure.
a Monster Pro.
Yeah.
And
With
you're.
that,
I'm sorry.
or yeah, with V2 or V1, or it's easier to figure out when the motor's going to give out on you.
Yeah. And your reasoning for saying that is because was that an 84 volt or 100 volt?
That one I think was
Is 100?
I want to say he had 100 volt. I don't think he owned an 84.
Yeah, because monsters are known for cutting out, guys, and that's the thing about bigger wheels. Bigger wheels, they tend to have a lot of power, blah blah blah, a lot of range, but sometimes their motors don't really match what they should be capable of doing, which is keeping up that massive wheel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this guy's a massive dude. He's not massive. I mean, I'm very open, but he's not massive, but he's definitely not thin.
That's why I love the Monster Pro.
Wow.
The amount of torque on the Monster Pro is beautiful.
Wow. That's intense. So yeah, I just wanted to point that out because a much smaller wheel, for example, with my MSP, dude, I can just stop by taking the backside and just dropping it down, and I don't have to worry about pulling it back or
you don't
anything
have to touch.
like that. Yeah, bigger wheels like the Sherman, the KS20, all these wheels. If you're in traffic and you plan on maneuvering through traffic to go to work or just for fun, just keep that in mind. Maneuverability and size don't usually match unless you have crazy experience, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So at least he found a method to stop for a car in case it shows up.
Exactly. Yeah, if a motor is underpowered, then that's when I usually like to tell people to carve in S's to help scrub speed. It's constantly carving left and right, but
which is why you need to create a video on carving because there's not much videos on how to do that. You can't tell people carve and they don't know how to carve. Like the other day,
make sure your legs.
The other day, Sensei was saying, you said if you ever experience a wobble to carve out of it. But my question is this: while this may be correct, most people don't know how to carve. The first thing
That's
they're going
true.
to do is freak out.
You're not wrong. Yeah, it's it's fine. Get your legs to that midpoint.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be a happy place where your leg has to sit either forward or backwards on it.
Yeah, go ahead and create that, man. Create that. It doesn't have to be a long video, just a nice short video.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
got you.
this is how you carve. You know what I'm saying?
We'll make it happen.
Make it happen, because I want to learn how to do that. Let me see what.
Got you.
Oh yeah, we already saw this one. Okay, so I want your opinion on this video, these two videos, one from Afiz and one from Alien Rights, because I really want the Commander. I want the EX because of its portability. But the last thing I want to do is get another wheel that
Don't get it. Get an EXN.
Don't get what?
The Commander.
Oh, okay.
Unless, I mean, do you honestly need 3,600 watt hour battery? Or
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So I don't know. The thing is, the power delivery of the EXN, I'm not sure if it's like adequate or or maybe it is adequate.
I'm guaranteeing you now, it's more than adequate for you.
Yeah.
Coming from an MSP torque, yes.
And it's portable. That's the selling factor.
It's way more portable.
Yeah. I don't ever want to get away from that part of EUC. To me, EUC is all about portability, and I don't want to leave that. You know what I mean? Yeah.
With a unicycle, no matter what, you're going to have a smaller footprint than other vehicles.
Yeah, naturally. Yeah. So let's see. Let's look at FEs here.
Good morning.
Good morning.
The commander says good morning as well.
Good morning, Commander.
And as you could hear, this is a torque variant. It's got a lot of torque. For such a big wheel that weighs, I believe, 36.5 kilograms. My initial first impression of the Commander is that it fills the gap between the EXN and the Sherman. One thing that the Sherman misses is the torque.
A hollow motor.
It doesn't have that initial torque. Yes, it's got high speed, but as you probably know, or most people know anyway in the community, once you have torque, you sacrifice speed, or speed, you sacrifice a bit of torque. However, the Commander here, based on the free spin, has 84 kilometers per hour, which means theoretically it should be able to reach about 42 to 44, depending on how heavy you are, which for most people is enough. I don't go over 35, 38 miles an hour as in my top speed normally on average. So for someone like me that care more about power, speed is enough. I think the Commander is a great wheel. Now, the high-speed version of the Commander might have a tougher time trying to win over customers that are already committed or are thinking about the Sherman because they're very similar. But the torque variant that I have here, for again a wheel that weighs 36.5 kilograms, does a good job of filling that gap. I'm referring to this wheel right now as EXN on steroids. Literally,
no.
You've got, EXN capabilities in terms of just that power, that fun factor. Is quite maneuverable. Again, for a 36.5 kg wheel, I suspect the reason why it is maneuverable is because it is very balanced. It's probably one of the most balanced wheels I have ridden.
It's because it has higher center of
in terms
gravity.
of weight-wise. Once you get going, you don't feel it. Again, probably because of the power. It really hides its weight very well. And stops well as well. So, so far so good. I am impressed with this wheel. I guess the real test will be when we take it off-roading and climb hills, because this is a torque variant. To expect it to have the power to climb more hills, better hills, or steeper hills rather, steeper hills than the Sherman. That is its unique selling point. The torque,
it's a guarantee.
The speed, as I said earlier, might have a tough time trying to win over Sherman customers. But this torque variant, if you're a big guy, you don't go over 40 miles an hour most of the time, but you want the range. Again, this is 36.5 kg, but the battery capacity is 3600 watt hour. But there's a little bit to that as well. So it might be 3600 watt hour, but you know, how far can you deplete the battery? So you could still have similar range to the Sherman, which is not a bad thing. But if you want torque and you want range, then it has to be, so far, it has to be the Commander torque variant. Anyway, just waiting for some of the guys to come so that we can go for a ride. And
what do you think of that?
You guys later.
How much of that can you relate to? Because you also have the wheel.
I agree with most of it. I don't think it's like a better EXN in any way. So pretty much the torque of it feels more like an MSP than it does an RS torque. The RS torque has more torque than the MSP itself. Hollow motors are a beautiful time, and I don't think they should have gone away from it. That's the biggest thing for me.
And the hollow motor mostly because of the torque?
Yeah, for torque and also the durability.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you did say that the more contacts.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, little things like that. What else is there to note?
I think you said it's it fills in the gap between the Sherman and the EXN. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Do you agree with that, or?
I think mostly if we're comparing for the sake of having heavier riders that want torque, then yes, by far get that. What else is there to know? The headlight on the Commander, I don't really like that much.
Me neither.
The fact that it's like pointed down on a consistent basis kind of sucks.
And I don't like that it's not modular, because if you break that thing, I mean, that doesn't ever happen on mine, but I'm just saying, you gotta take that thing apart, and it doesn't look fun.
We need rubber or like foam bumpers to come stock with wheels. What Chris Clark is doing is fucking awesome. I'm super happy about what he does.
Yeah.
But yeah, bumpers make a huge difference, and more people should be taking advantage of that.
Right. Well, Alien Ride has. Did you see the review from Alien Rides?
Nope. I haven't seen it. What is it
right now?
Sure.
Take me to your Commander.
Subscribe
and let's ride.
Is that Kevin in that?
I have no idea who's in there.
It looks like Kevin's shoes.
What's up, YouTube? Alien Rides here. Today we have the brand new.
It doesn't look so big, man, when he holds it like that.
First time they've stuffed a whopping 3,600 watt
it's not that
battery
big.
into
yeah,
a
when he holds it
compact
like
bike
that.
this. I am super excited to show you this wheel. So let's take a look. Subscribe and let's ride.
This tire is certainly not Parker's. We will change it. I guess. Much better
That's the
now.
first thing I did too. I did was throw a street tire on it.
Now, what's amazing is after watching that video, he makes it look so easy to throw around.
Can you lower the video music? It's a little hard to hear.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Can you hear it now?
It's a little better.
Yeah. So
Or is it?
He makes it look a little bit easier to throw around. Which tells me it's not like the Sherman.
Oh, okay, yeah, that was another thing with Afiz's video. Something to note with the reason that it's nimble. It's not because it's balanced, but it's because of the higher pedal hangers and higher center of gravity. Yeah.
So, I mean, what was he comparing it to?
He was just saying that I guess versus the EXN.
Okay.
He was saying that the reason that the wheel is able to be so nimble or feel more nimble is because of the balancing, or because saying it's balanced, but it's
Right.
not because it's not because the battery packs are balanced or whatever. It's because the battery packs are higher and all the weight is up higher.
Right.
That was it.
Well, what I took away from his short review is just how he's able to throw it around so simply.
Yeah, it's
I
a great
mean,
We've
time.
reviewed plenty
His
of wheels on this
experience
channel
has a
now,
lot to do with it,
but
but
it's the first time that we're looking at a wheel from Extreme Bull. Let's take a look at what that means.
The Extreme Bull K4 is
a
awesome,
sister
by the way.
company of Bigode, formerly known as Gotway. They generally focus on physical components and have teamed up with Bigode to produce a few different PEVs. You may have seen our video on the Extreme Bull K4.
I rode that
Tiny,
thing. It made
hybrid
me so
sit-down
happy.
scooter / e-bike that hits 60 miles per hour.
The smile on
The
my face
Commander
was
is their
uncompared.
first electric unicycle. They've built up a rugged, feature-packed shell and incorporated Bigode internals. You can think of this wheel as a polished-up MSP on steroids. It's the latest in high-performance wheels, and with its powerful architecture, the Commander easily commands our attention. It's for these reasons and more that we sell this wheel at alienrides.com. Now, let's get into some of the features of the Extreme Bull Commander. Starting from the top, we've got a really strong trolley handle
is that
allows
true?
you to
Is
effortlessly
his trolley
maneuver
handle
the wheel.
strong?
It's
Also
a
on
trolley
top
handle.
and in front of the handle
It's
are dual charge
it didn't
ports
really
and an
shine
integrated voltage display.
in my eyes.
You can't easily see it during the day.
But it wasn't flimsy.
On the front and back here,
No.
you've got
It
cutouts
was
for
way
easy
better.
lifting. You've
I
also
don't
got
like the
integrated
back
headlights,
speakers. I
which
would
gives a
prefer they
wide,
put a
bright beam for
backlight.
night rides.
I think the speakers should be more in
Power here
front,
is not
or if not on the top of the wheel,
But as
because
you
you can
saw,
actually hear
we
it.
changed it for a street
Yeah.
tire. Depending on your riding conditions, you may prefer the knobby though. On the sides, you've got new, heavy-duty pedals and a set of power pads. The power pads look quite nice and are functional, but they're also quite stiff and are not the most comfortable in my opinion. The power button is at an interesting spot, inside of the front
I think
cutout.
that's a good idea to put the power
It's
button
going to
over
make
there.
it harder to
Yes,
accidentally
I like
engage
that.
and disengage it,
Yeah.
but there is no travel mode. That's due to there not being any kind of lift sensor on this model. The rear has 2 speakers and a small light. The speakers are loud as they are exposed to the open air, and much louder than most wheels. Inside the wheel,
It sounds about the
there is
same
a
as the RS. It's just about
3,600
the
watt-hour
placement.
battery and a standard
Really?
axle
Oh,
motor.
because
Yeah.
your foot is
Four
pretty much
distinct battery
covering the
packs,
speaker
each run at
Yeah.
100
on the
point
RS and the MSP.
Our
Right.
version here is the high torque motor type, but you can
Although
also
I
run
like the
high
look
speed
of the
mode, which
placement
is
of
going
the
to support
RS
a
and the
higher top
MSP,
speed.
it's just not practical.
On our torque version,
Yeah, for sure.
the top speed is around 40 miles per hour, and with a range of about 60 miles at high speed.
Mind bringing the video
If you
volume a
ride
little
at
bit
slower
down more?
paces,
Yeah.
You may be able to eke out
Thank you.
100 miles or more.
That's better.
We expect the speed
Cool.
version to be able to hit speeds.
So
of
Zoom
50
Wheels
miles
finally
per
made it
hour.
on.
Overall, I think
Oh,
the
yeah. What's up,
Extreme Bull
bro?
Commander
Yeah,
is
what's
one
up,
of the
bud?
best
Hey,
20th
Zoom
century
Wheels, come on, put some shirt
Hey.
on.
It's rugged, packed with
Nah, keep it
features,
off.
and
It's a
has
good
massive
look.
Performance. This makes it one of the best wheels that you can currently
We need
buy.
some shirt. We need
We are
some
taking
shirt,
photos
Zoom
for the
Wheels. Come
wheel,
on.
And there's
His
no
team
finalized
skins.
price yet, but we expect it to be around the
Zoom
$5
Wheel, can you hear me? Shirt.
Super torque wheel. All right, guys, that's all we got for this episode on
He's not
Extreme Bull
here.
Commander. You can check it out.
Where'd he go?
at
Is his
alienrides.com,
video still there?
And we've got a link to that.
Zoom Wheel, I need you to
in the
put some
video
shirt on,
below.
man.
Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you all next time.
It's exciting.
I'm glad I'm making people feel comfortable with it. Some people feel like hard mode is fighting the. So this guy says some people feel like hard mode is fighting them. Well, it depends on what you're doing.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, because the wheel's constantly wanting the whole algorithm is literally just getting the wheel to try to stay upright.
Right.
So it's inevitably going to always fight you.
Yes, that's hard mode, and it depends on what wheel too. Because King Song, I feel that a lot with the King Song, but not so much with the Sherman or Gotway.
Yeah, because it wants to give in.
Yeah. Hey, it's going on 3 hours. Zoom Wheels, chime in. What do you think are the modern wheels overweight?
I like the big powerful wheels.
There
You
go.
like them, right?
Yeah. Well, I've just got the EXN MSS 3150 off Daniel.
How do you like that?
Services.
Oh yeah, what's up with that, man?
Oh, what a wheel! I've got the normal EXN, and Law, what the EXN, the
Yeah, of
original,
course. I love it.
is. So you can lean like that on it, the
Really?
original. But this one, I got off Daniel. I've had it a week. I'm going to London this morning from Bournemouth. I live on the south coast, so I'm going with all the London boys, like Avik. I was down there last week with him, and it just pissed over the Commander. It pissed over it.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Honestly,
The Commander Speed or Torque?
Pure torque.
Or are you talking about the Commander Speed or Torque?
It's got both.
Or
Torque.
the Commander.
Torque. Yeah,
Oh, okay, really?
Torque,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It just pissed over it from like 0 to 40. It pisses over everything I've had, even my normal MSS, yeah, the MSP version. I'm so pleased, but it cost me £4,000. That wheel.
That's a little expensive.
Yeah, it's but it is such a.
That hurts the wallet hearing it. Yeah,
it's such a good wheel. Honestly,
I could see that.
Yeah, and you can put it on. It's got a sports mode, yeah, but it's hard mode on
Oh, really?
the app. And it's like, it's scary, yeah. I don't really ride it a lot. I've only had it a week. The sports mode is just
It's nice.
Zoom wheels. Someone asked earlier about the MSS and Wrongway's review on that. What were you taking that?
Right, I'm going to tell you exactly what happened there, yeah? And I'll speak to Daniel like daily, yeah? So the wheel we tested, was broke a week before, yeah? And Daniel's got proof of the fella saying I've smashed the wheel up. Daniel and Wrongway have got stuff going on, yeah? That's a fact, yeah? They both live in Poland. They don't get on. Daniel said to Wrongway, this is what Daniel told me. So I'm not going to get in this stuff.
No, that's okay.
But Daniel said to Wrongway, please don't test it. Let me fix the wheel first, then test it. Daniel had that, Wrongway had that wheel for 7 hours and quickly done a quick review to completely slaughter him personally, I think, yeah? And I like Adam, I like Daniel, so I don't want to get involved. But the wheel I've got, and a couple of other boys in London who've got the EXN MSS, it's nothing like that wheel, nothing like it. Nothing like it. And it's just a shame them two, they both live in Poland and they don't get on. It's such a shame.
So so the company is a good company, yeah?
Yeah, Daniel, you're brilliant, yeah. And
so with the
MSS, there was something wrong with the battery. I blew the Moffats up last year. He's taking the wheel back. He's going to fix it for me for nothing. Yeah, Daniel's a good guy, and Adam's a good guy. It's just a shame that they're in this whatever they're in, and it's just a shame, really. But I'm not getting involved. All I'm talking about my experience with the EXN MS. Remember, I paid for the battery. It's like a Sherman battery, and it's the best wheel I've ever ridden. And I've had the Monster Pro. I've got the Sherman. It's unbelievable.
How is the tuning of it? Does it pedal dip, or like if you do a sustained turn, does it drop on you slowly?
No.
Really?
No.
Who takes care of those control boards?
Daniel modifies it all, yeah.
All the control boards?
Everything. He does. I don't know what he look. I'll just buy them and ride them. Yeah?
I get you. I get you.
I don't even know how to, do anything. If anything breaks, I'll just send it back.
Yeah.
This wheel. Well, V's got the MSS, but I've got the original. Yeah. That's V's go-to wheel now.
You're definitely talking it up and exciting me.
No, honestly, I wish you could get it, but it's so expensive. I paid with the shipping £4,000.
I get you. Yeah, it hurts. But my question now is, does Daniel make custom control boards for RSs and other wheels?
What Daniel?
Like for regular ones, because I want something that can be tuned properly.
Yeah.
Not
Daniel
like
Daniel has just made the RS MSS.
Okay.
So he reckons, and he's going to make the MSS on the Commander. He's told me he's doing that, but I don't know what he does to the wheels.
I get you.
He doesn't want people to. Oh, he don't mind people opening them, but he changes.
Oh, for sure.
He does everything. Do you know what I mean? And I trust him.
No, I get you. Definitely.
He's an expert.
Yeah, all I want to see right now in this current moment, I don't need the extra battery. I want to see Daniel make something, or I just want to see him make control boards that you can just plug and play to current wheels, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because if
But
we can have something that's tuned beautifully, then I'll pay that extra dollar for it for sure.
What you got to do, Law? He is such a
Yeah.
He will. You could FaceTime him, and he'll talk you through it. He's such
Yeah.
a nice fella. He's such
Really.
He will talk to you about wheels. You know, he done that little live stream with Black Cobra, didn't he? And he was really coming. He's not. He's here to help the community, not to
for sure
send wheels out because you know he's put that's his company. He's not a big company, and it's like I thought he was hard done by Adam. I think, but you know. Adam would probably message me and try to tell me, but I don't want to get. I like both of the guys.
Sure.
Really
I get
nice
you.
fellas. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So just hit him up on Facebook, or what do you usually contact him with?
Well, I could. Are you on? I'll message you on Instagram. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Sure, bud.
I'll private message you, and then I can give you his number. And Daniel would love to talk to both of you. And
for sure.
Explain like the wheels he does. Honestly, this wheel.
That'd be.
I'm going to London today. And I know, honestly, I can't wait to get up there. Yeah.
No, that'd be greatly appreciated if you could do that, man. I want to get a control board that doesn't dip on me because if I'm racing or something like that, I don't want it. Have you seen the California race a couple months ago?
No, I don't know. I've been busy.
So there was a race back here in the US, and then pretty much everybody and their mother were dipping forward on the turns, and everybody was falling off the wheels. That doesn't need to be a thing if you have a wheel that's tuned properly.
Yeah. See what I want to do, because I'm not great at with the GoPro. Yeah, I've got a GoPro 8, but it takes me. I'm not that really technical on, so I'm trying to do stuff on my phone now.
Yeah, all videos are on phone.
You've got a sports mode. Yeah, it's hard mode.
Yeah.
As you lean, it lifts. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's so scary.
Wow.
You know, look, I like speed, and like UStride knows, and you Law, you know, I love.
For sure.
This thing is absolutely insane.
Nuts.
Daniel's a big guy, and the more you lean, the more it lifts. Oh, I can't explain it really.
Okay. I look forward to it.
Yeah,
I get you. It's counteracting it. It's just the way that the wheels program.
He modifies the wheels, but he's an expert in electronics and all that, Daniel. Yeah, that's his.
Beautiful.
But what I'll do, I'll send you a message. He would love to speak to you, Law, and you, UStride.
No, definitely.
He would love to.
Let's make it happen.
Yeah, let's make it happen. Quick question. So, am I able, like Law? I'm not sure if Law asked that question, but the control board, can he send us? Like, can I purchase a control board from him to modify my EXN if I ended up purchasing one?
Well, I don't think it's just about the control board. It's everything he does. It's not. If it was
for sure.
Control board, he'd be selling them like hotcakes. But it's the what I know, and I don't really know a lot of internal about wheels. Like I said, I just buy them and ride them I can't ride anymore. But you'd have to speak to him, Law, and UStride, because he was going to sell the kits, to make these wheels, but it's not. The kits don't do it. You've got to modify the motor, because my MSS original one, it's a different motor completely. Yeah, it's a special motor he's had built, and
nice.
It's just more than a control board. These wheels. Yeah,
for sure. Like a lot of people's complaints with the Gotway nowadays is primarily just because of the tune, and if Homie could be able to just sell like retuned motherboards or reprogrammed motherboards that can handle that. You'd sell a lot for sure.
Yeah, but I think he puts stronger wires in.
Yeah, no, I see that. Because the thicker gauge is huge safety.
Gauges, so you know when it gets hot, the wires are not going to melt like the Sherman. When I first got the Sherman a couple of years ago, I was doing speed runs in Liverpool, and then we went back to the hotel, me and Avik, and all the wires had melted. Yeah.
Wow. No. I remember that.
Yeah.
Kuji had talked about it too.
Yeah, they melted because the wires they're putting on are not thick enough gauges to take the current and the heat.
Yeah.
But this wheel, honestly, I'm going to try to get some with. I'm going to get some. I'm going to probably put it on my Instagram, the videos today.
Sure.
But yeah, what I know for definite, Kay has ordered the EXN MSS to 3,150. That's a fact.
Awesome.
I think
Nice.
V has put an order. I think V's putting an order in for it.
Yeah.
It's insane. It's insane.
How much is it to bring to the US?
Oh, well, it's going to be more because you got the shipping.
But wait. So why did that earlier EXN break? I mean, is it something the user did, or did you drop it?
The one wrong way? Done that little review on. Yeah, the fella, it was crashed a week before. And Daniel, look, you'll speak to Daniel. Hopefully you will. And Daniel has explained exactly what happened. He asked him, please do not test the wheel until we fix it. Let me fix it, then you can test it. But they've got stuff going on, I believe. I don't know. I don't want to get involved. And it's just a shame them two don't get on. And they both live in Poland. It's just, there's something more. There's something more than about this. There's something going on more than just the wheel. That's for sure. You can tell if you look at all the reviews he's done. He's never gone into someone like that. Never. Well, I don't think so. Anyway.
So Zoomwheel, what do you think about these new wheels? I mean, I know you like them because of your weight, but you definitely don't recommend them to new riders, right?
Not unless they're no. I don't think so. I started off on an 18 XL, when I started, and then I progressed because I come from a motocross background,
Mm-hmm.
So it didn't take me long. But I think everyone needs to get a smaller wheel just to test, just to learn, because you can kill yourself. You can these wheels now. You can kill yourself on them,
easily.
Absolutely. I don't think we're talking much about that. That's true.
Yeah, anyone can get on a wheel, and ride it till it cuts out. You ain't got to be a brain surgeon to do that,
No, but you literally lean forward. That's it.
Yeah, us the London riders,
Yeah.
My speed is 0 to 45. That is lovely. All that 50 mile an hour now is just ego. And look at me, I'm the fastest man on the planet. It's a dick
measuring contest.
Yeah, but I like to ride 35 to 45 in that speed.
There you go.
Yeah.
So you can jump.
Yeah, but
you don't have to worry.
I'm not a jumper because all the wheels I've had, the Pro, the Sherman, the EX.
Yeah.
Let's get
you jumping at 40 miles an hour.
I'm about 12 stone, I don't know what that is in kilos.
Okay.
But but I'm coming. So you're in Vegas, isn't you, Law?
What was that, bud?
Are you in Vegas?
Yeah, I'm in Vegas, bud.
Yes, because I've played cards, so I go there a few times a year. But
really?
But this time I wasn't riding wheels then. But if I come out there, I'll just hope
if you come here, I've got an EXN, I've got RS speed, RS torque. I'll do whatever you need. Yeah, come hang out.
Yeah,
let's make it happen.
I had V with me for 2 weeks last month. V come to stay with me and my wife.
For sure.
Yeah,
nice.
So if you ever come to the UK, you got somewhere to stay. I've got the wheels.
Let's go. Yeah, likewise, bud. If you're just coming out here, then you got a place to crash to. Don't worry. Yeah.
Well, I'll probably stay in the Bellagio because I like playing poker. Yeah?
Oh no, for sure. It's as far as accessibility goes. But if you need to borrow a wheel, I got you, bud.
Yeah, but I'll tell you that the soft mode on this MSS EXN is awful.
Yeah.
Oh mate, it's terrible.
We're missing out on a lot of stuff when we're doing soft mode.
Yeah, but I like soft mode when I go off road, really bad off road.
Even bad off road, I'll go hard mode all day.
You won't be able to go hard mode on it. It's not hard mode; it's sports mode. Yeah.
Yeah.
Law, honestly, mate.
I look forward to it.
Insane.
I'm excited for it. I look forward to it.
It's insane.
You got me excited, bud.
Hey, new wheels. What deposit do you have on any? Do you have a deposit on any new wheels or?
No, I'm not. Listen, it's winter here now. Winter's coming in. It's pointless me. I might as well wait now until everyone gets the wheels, the first gen. All the problems are that there's always going to be problems.
Yeah, and again,
I've got a Sherman. So I've got the Sherman, the original EXN, the EXN MSS.
Yeah, you don't need any more wheels.
I've got 4 wheels.
Just a couple.
For me to buy another wheel in the winter, it's insane. So I won't ride them. Yeah, I like to try to keep all my wheels active. So me to get another 2 wheels. I'll wait till all you boys, get them and test them and find the faults. Yeah, so next summer, whatever's going to be the best wheel out of them all, I may get it.
Yeah.
But I like the MSS line because Daniel's going to make MSS lines the Commander. He's doing them all.
Yeah. You excited for the S20?
Yeah. If they unlock the speed on it, yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. If that can hit 45 mile an hour, then it's a good
It will
contender,
not
you know
hit
what I mean?
45.
45.
Calling, and now it's not going to do that.
Wait, what's the top speed of the EXN MSS?
43 EXN.
Oh, the EXN. I've had 50 mile an hour out of the
Yeah,
EXN,
because it says
Really?
80 kilometers per hour in here, which is about 50, but it says 50 plus.
Yeah. Well, I've only hit 40. I hit 49.6 last week on it. Yeah, that's on the EUC World app. I don't know how. You may have 3 or 4% on that.
Okay.
But that was no beeps. So, like I said, I don't really, and I didn't
No
realise I've
beeps.
done that until I looked at the EUC World app.
That's cool.
Yeah, but 50 mile, listen, 45 mile an hour in and out London is enough.
That's more than enough.
No, that's more than enough. That's
Yeah.
I want a 60 miles per hour. That's fine. Not to do 60, just so I know I have that buffer.
So you can hit 50 and not die.
Yeah.
But the reality is, you will push it to 60. That's what we're like.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Oh, for sure.
Exactly.
Inevitably, it happens. As much as we avoid it, we go there.
Okay, so guys, I'm gonna close it out. Zoom Wheels, what advice do you have for new and moderate riders about these new wheels?
Just take your time on them and just don't rush into them. Don't rush in, yeah, because there's 4 or 5 wheels coming out, yeah. Try to see the reviews, what other people do first before you jump in and buy it. Don't buy into it because they're expensive wheels, yeah. And you may pick the wrong one. What for your riding needs, yeah. Just take your time because it's like really like next year there's going to be another 2 wheels out. The wheel after another 2. It's not fair, really, because they're not cheap.
They're not. Yeah. And same for you.
People work, they've got families, and most of the people who buy wheels are 40, 50-year-olds because they've done well.
Yep.
They've got money.
It's a bunch of middle-aged men who end up riding on single-wheel devices.
Another topic we should probably discuss. That's hilarious.
Yeah, 40 to 50-year-olds normally buy the big wheels. Like Marty, he's retired. V's retired. They've got the money to buy it. Unfortunately, I can buy any wheel, but what I would say, I'm glad I've got the 4 wheels now because I'm not going to rush in. I'm going to wait till the first gen comes out. Let all the problems. There's going to be problems with the wheels.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
naturally.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so I'll let you lot. Yeah, all you big YouTubers test them, and then I'll have a look.
I'm definitely not a big YouTuber, but
but
I'll test them.
And Law, what about you? Your closing words for new riders regarding these big weight wheels.
Send it safely. As far as ergonomics go, pay attention to those little things. Think about your stance. We'll notice that when you're riding bigger wheels, then you want to space out the base with a little bit of like EVA foam, puzzle mat, whatever you can find, because legs naturally stand in a straight triangle. So try to maintain that, because otherwise, if you're using more muscles than you need to, you end up inducing more wobbles.
Yeah.
So just do whatever you can to create more safety with the ride.
Yeah.
Yeah, and check the tire pressure. My
tire pressure is huge. Yep.
The tire pressure makes it so. If you get, like, I've got mine when I've got that EXN, the MSS. It took me 2 days to mess about with the pads and the tire pressure. Yeah, I do not get no wobbles at all. Yeah, I'm not saying I would never get it. Yeah, but if the tire pressure is key, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tire tire pressure's too high, you're going to deal with wobble more. Or not necessarily. So what happens, what I'm saying is it exposes your flaws in riding more if you have the higher pressure. But if you have too low of a pressure, then you're going to dent your rim. You're going to hurt yourself because of that. Or you're going to unseat your tire while you're riding, and then you have even more of a worse time.
But do you know what? I'll tell you what's good. I've got the Clark pedals, yeah? They have stopped me coming off that wheel so many times.
They're good.
Oh, yeah, I could imagine.
Oh, man.
I could imagine.
They're a good time.
Yeah. That's
I just wish they didn't have that.
I've hit a bump, and if I had a normal pedal, I would have come off the wheel.
Oh, by far.
I would have slid off. But the Clark pedals are my best pedals I've had. I've had them all, yeah?
My favorite pedals. My favorite pedals are still doing DIY. Like, have you
Yeah,
seen
I
what
know,
I've been doing,
I've
Brian?
seen you making.
Yeah,
Yeah,
use the carpet mat, and that does a beautiful time. Then you
yeah.
can
I just ain't
customize how
got
it
time
is.
to
It's got
make it. You know, I'm still making the zoom wheel seats.
yeah.
I've done it. I've done.
Oh, I
Oh,
got
big
you.
zoom wheel. So you're going to be doing one for the Commander. I mean, it's pretty much the same design, yeah?
Yeah, you need to find a bracket to go on it first, then clip the clips on. Yeah.
Mm.
But yeah, I don't think so. Look, I've sold over 300 seats for the Sherman, and I think I'll be able to use the same clips for the Abrams. Yeah, the veteran.
Mm.
You just got to
Right.
move the clips forward. But to be
Yeah.
honest, if I'll be honest, when I made the seat, I done it for a bit of a fame. But now, when the orders come in, I think, oh fuck, I've got to make a seat here. You know, 'cause they say, you know, I've done it for a bit of fame, a bit of ego. When
Well, you did it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, but
Oh, you did it. You made it happen.
yeah, you made it happen.
But now, when I get an order coming, I think, oh fuck, I've got to make a fucking seat. I ain't got time.
Yeah, usually I encourage the whole DIY route because I'm lazy and I don't want to make things for people. I do enough of that for the local community, and I fucking love them. But then it gets tired.
You do loads, you do loads, yeah. But yeah, oh, listen, it's lovely to see you both, honestly.
Oh no, for sure.
No, that was great, man.
Yeah,
Thanks for
and Lord,
chiming in.
definitely, it'll be after Christmas. I'm coming to Vegas, yeah. So I'm
Yes,
come on me
please do.
Yeah.
I want to hang out with you. Let's make it happen. I
100%.
want.
But like I said,
Yeah.
when V comes, she can use any wheel. It's just you can't get
Of
the
course.
wheels out there. But if I've
I
got a
get
wheel
you.
to borrow, I'll just bring me crash helmet.
I've got a couple spares, and then you know what else? Yuko's in town now.
Wow.
Yeah, I drove the truck over from San Diego out here, and then
wow.
yeah, so Yuko's in Vegas now. So if for anybody who's in the stream right now,
What do you mean? They were in California before?
They were in San Diego, but now they're in Vegas. So we have even more access to wheels if we wanted to play with more. And then
that's great. Yeah, like I said, V was here for 2 weeks. She come over with us.
Yeah.
She stayed with me and my wife. She
That's
come
awesome.
to London. She loved it. So look, all you guys, if you need to come to the UK, I've got wheels. You know, you can come and stay with me.
Yeah.
Definitely, 1,000,000%. All right.
Okay, let's make it happen.
Yeah, no, I love the community, man. Remember, I've only
No,
been
it's
on
awesome.
for a couple of years, yeah.
Awesome people.
And UStride, yeah. It was you. I done how I learned to ride an EUC with your 12-step thing, yeah.
I mean, it's slow. It's a slow video.
Listen,
Dude, slow is fast.
Listen, that video, you don't realise how many people you've helped with that video, yeah. The 12-step how to ride in EUC, yeah. And I remember having it on my phone and over the park with a fence, yeah.
Yeah, really? That's hilarious.
Like, what's he doing?
Yeah. 30 times. Do it 30 times now. 30, 30, 30.
Oh, yeah. Unbelievable. Brilliant. Honestly.
Guys, thank you for chiming in. Everyone in the chat, thanked you guys for just chiming in because
I'm glad I missed it.
Good chat.
I missed the show because I just got up and I come up with my live stream. Oh wow!
Yeah, it was completely by chance that
completely. I mean, look, it was supposed to happen at 8:30, dude, and it happened like 11, 12. So I'm like, whatever, just do it.
If you do this again, you want me up.
Look,
I know.
I'll go on Instagram and I'll privately message you. Then we get you talking to Daniel, yeah, 100%.
Yes, please, that would be great. And then with UStride,
I've got to go, so I'm going to London now. It's 2.5 hours.
All right, you take care, Brian.
Take care, guys.
Yeah, take care, man.
Take care.
With UStride, what was he saying? I got lost track. Backtrack. What were we talking about?
I can't rewind the video.
I know you can't. It's okay.
Anyone in the chat remember? What do you mean? Like, were you like? Was it about?
There was something I was gonna mention to you. Oh yeah, if you ever want me to join your stream or something like that.
Oh please, yeah, dude. I need as many views as possible.
Message me, and then I'll join it. I don't.
Yeah. Because I don't want to talk
right
with one perspective. I prefer having multiple perspectives.
For sure, yeah. If you're only running off one perspective, then it's just playing ignorant, and then you end up dealing with some kind of culty idea. But anytime you let me know, man.
No, definitely. Law, thank you, man. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
For sure.
And guys, this was Law, and I hope you guys learned a lot. A lot of them agree. They say they learned a lot. They love the live. So, and I'm gonna replay this. I'm gonna post this. It's gonna replay. I'm gonna chop up small bits of it, so more people are gonna learn. So,
for sure, definitely.
Yeah. Hey, hopefully we can ride again one day. That would be great.
Do it. Yeah. Again, I'll probably show up in New York and Jersey. 'Cause my family's out in Jersey. I go over there to visit reasonably frequent. Yeah, maybe Christmas time or New Year's, something like that. I'll hit you up.
Yeah.
We'll figure something out.
Yeah. Hey, it's cool. Law, thank you. Have an awesome night. What are you building? What are you building?
Little Tamiya mini 4-wheel drive cars. I've been racing these for the past couple months, and then you end up building them. You end up building all types of like rollers and stuff. You literally turn the car on and then you put it on the track and then pray it stays on while racing other people doing the same thing.
Interesting. But is it remote control or? No.
It's you literally build the car, AA batteries, you turn it on, and then it has like there's slots on the car on the track. So it's like it's got walls. And then there's like rollers on the sides of the car that kind of here's another one. Yeah, it's literally a bunch of rollers.
Oh, okay.
That kind of guide it, and then it jumps, and then you got it nerd stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no better way of explaining it. But
hey, keep you going. So that's good.
Exactly. For sure, man. Yeah, good talking to you.
It was great, dude. Like I said, you inspired me to create pads, and I was not pads at all until I saw the benefit. So
yeah, I'm also working on 3D printed design. Okay. It's not going to be like a one piece like everybody else, but yeah, we'll see. I just need to freaking expedite and get not lazy to make things.
Yeah, man, I'm lazy with my rails. I created one, and then I'm like, I gotta create more. How do I do it?
Exactly, it hurts.
I gotta figure out how to do it, man.
Yeah, at least with 3D printing, it's just it's a little less hands on, but then it just gets annoying because if that thing clogs up, then it's just $70 down the drain having to buy new headers or whatever parts. Right. Yeah. But anyways, bud, I'll catch you soon.
Take care, Law.
Take care. See you guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys for watching.
Yes, thank you guys.
All right. Have a good night.
All right. Later. So guys, this was the topic of the night. Are EUCs overweight? Are modern EUCs overweight? Well, clearly they are and they're not. They're good and they're bad. I did cover some benefits. So some benefits to having a big and heavy EUC, some of which we covered with Law, is that, you can overcome wind gusts. You obviously have more range. You have more speed. You can more easily be seen by automobiles. That's very important because a lot of them don't have proper tail lights. More torque, but that's extremely subjective because in the case of the Sherman, it's a big motor, but it has a hard time getting offline. You have the Commander, high torque, which is good, but then the high speed has some problems getting offline. That's natural. But then the high speed torque off the line is better than the Sherman. So that's just a natural thing. But as a new rider, if you end up purchasing a wheel that's heavy, one of those 4, including the Sherman, or 5 that would be, including the Sherman, then one of your main issues you're going to encounter is learning how to ride a big wheel because you need to lean forward in order to get it. We recommend a mid-level wheel. At this point, a mid-level wheel would be anything like an MSP, 84-volt MSX, probably a V11. I don't really want to recommend those, but pretty much that range of wheels. And then guys, go from there. If you can get it used, great. If you can borrow it, great. But getting one of those brand new wheels is just not recommended. Okay, on my part at least. Do what you want, obviously. There are more features, obviously, on these new wheels. Seated riding is more comfortable, absolutely. And new riders have something to aspire to. I just put that one in there because, like Zoom Wheels was saying, you don't have to rush and get a new wheel just because it's out there. The KS20 is definitely a hype wheel. But like Zoom Wheel says, and a lot of others people said, you're going to experience, and this is what you're going to hear from experienced riders, you're going to experience first generation issues mostly. And it would just suck to go through all that money, $4,000, $3,000 spending on a wheel, and then you're going through first generation issues only to be, greeted with fixes later down the road. So definitely be cautious on spending your money. If you don't care, if you got deep pockets, hey, do your thing. Now, some drawbacks of big wheels: hinders maneuverability and agility initially, at least. So for example, the Sherman was a massive wheel. The problem with that wheel is maneuverability. Part of the reason was because of the tire. So if you notice, Law said the first thing he did, and the first thing Alien Rides did with the Commander, is remove that road knobby tire and put a road tire. Why? The road tire has less contact with the road. Obviously, that's subjective as well, because if you ride with low pressure, you have a lot of contact with the road. But there's less grip. There's less grabbing of the road. And I forgot what that thing Law said, but the knobby tire exposes your vulnerabilities or your weaknesses in how you ride. So the road tire will definitely be more forgiving, okay, in terms of carving, in terms of bending, maneuvering, etc. The knobby tire, you're going to have a hard time. It's just going to be a hard time. It's going to be painful for you if it's your first time or if you're not that into riding, okay? So first thing, if you get a Commander, change the tire. If you get a Sherman, change the tire, you know what I mean, to a road tire. So it hinders maneuverability because of the weight. So most important thing about any wheel is being able to throw it left, throw it right, you know, traffic. I don't know where you are. If you're in the woods, then it won't matter. If you're in the city, maneuverability matters a lot. So is agility. So crashes can be more dangerous for obvious reasons, like falling on your leg. I won't get into the rest because, you know, that's obvious at this point, and I don't want to expose what could possibly happen in case of people watching and being like, what? These things are dangerous. I'm not trying to talk about that. Braking can be an issue when moving at very high speed. So one of the videos we watched is a man jumping on a monster, probably 100 volt, and literally having to hold the wheel to pull it back in order to stop. That's a problem, man. If that's what you're going to have to resort to, is stopping as a new rider, that's going to take some that's a huge learning curve to overcome. Stopping a big wheel is not as easy as it looks. That's just coming from people who've been riding for freaking a long time and many wheels. So a big wheel is nice because it's, you know, long range, a lot of speed, looks nice, etc. But it's something to consider because you can damage your Achilles heel. So Arc Rides is one of the guys who, you know, you check him out, Arc Rides, and he has a Sherman, and one of the recent videos was him hurting his Achilles heel. So you don't hear a lot about these things in the community. You will see it a lot on the forums. So visit the forums and the chats. You will see a lot of people damaging themselves. But as a new rider, just stay away from the craze if you can. Get a manageable wheel. Okay. Acceleration is usually an issue off the line with these things. So if you're at a stoplight and you want to gun it, don't expect gunning anything unless you're just leaning into it, like, you know, for faceplant. but again, this is just from my experience. And also there's obviously techniques. There are so many. We've gotten to a point in electric unicycles now where technique is a thing. You have to learn different types of techniques. So just keep that in mind. If you want to buy a heavy wheel or one of those beautiful new wheels, just watch a bunch of videos and go to a bunch of group rides and ask a bunch of questions if that's your thing. I don't recommend it once again, but again, do what you want. Off-roading is usually discouraged with big wheels. So if you love off-roading, forget about going off-roading with big wheels. Just keep that in mind. For example, the Abrams, that's a massive wheel. That was meant to address, you know, the fact that the Sherman lacked the off-roading ability. I mean, you can't obviously ride off-roading with a Sherman, but the low, just how low the pedals were and just the form factor of the Sherman made it inadequate for off-roading. So that's another thing right there. But yeah, so the added weight of the Abrams actually is ironically a hindrance when the purpose of that wheel was to increase the height of the pedal so that you can go off-roading. And now the weight might just act against you if you're a new moderate rider. So these wheels are basically for advanced riders. So to answer the question of the night, are modern wheels oversized? Yes and no. Yes for new riders, because remember, when we first started, we started with tiny wheels, you know, in Motion V5, Motion V5F, MCM, ACM, Tesla, etc. These were, anybody could ride those wheels. Now you move on to the 84 volt MSX, the Monster, you know, the MS Pro, etc., etc. These wheels were kind of gray area for new riders. Now these wheels, stay off. Just stay away, okay? Just stay away from those wheels. They're 66 plus pounds. Let's just be 77 plus pounds, okay? 77, that's the Sherman Territory Plus, okay? So I hope this information was beneficial to you guys. I thank you for chiming in. Till next time. And as always, I'm going to leave you guys with a great video, because there is hope. Just because they're big doesn't mean you can't achieve what you're trying to achieve, which is riding superiority. And there are people like Chooch, who's 125, maybe 135 pounds, well under 170, and he's able to ride a Sherman the way he does. He even jumps it. So I just want to leave you with some encouragement so that you're not downed. Oh, I can't get a heavy wheel. You can't. You just need patience, and you need a lot of practice. All right, guys, till next time, peace.
California on one of the fastest electric unicycles ever made. So this is the veteran Sherman right here. This is 3,200 watt hours of battery power in this thing. You can go about 120 miles on this thing. It's rated about 45 miles an hour for a 300-pound rider. I can get it up to about 51 miles per hour. Riding on the road right here, whenever you hear this thing, whenever you hear the beep, beep, you can hear it faintly on here, because I try to edit out the wind noise. That's when it's really getting to top speeds. But if you're new to this right here is the top of the line machine right here. It came out about a year ago. It's called the Veteran Sherman, and this is an iteration of the electric unicycle that was basically created by the engineers from Gateway. They branched over, kind of did their own thing, and they made a performance wheel. All performance, no frills. Some of the other wheels, they have like LED strips on it. You'll have, you know, Bluetooth speakers, whatnot. This one right here, this is all performance. They got this nice roll cage on here, basically like a rigid industry style LED light bar on the front that is super, super bright. You have this in combination with just like a pocket flashlight, where you can actually like turn the flashlight, you know, where you're going and whatnot. You're good to go at nighttime, at night riding. It's awesome. It peels out. You see this thing, the torque on this thing is enormous. And with that torque, it has the high speed there as well. And this thing just takes off. If you're looking at this wheel right here, you know, you're maybe thinking, man, what is that? This is, if you're just seeing this and you're like, oh man, he may have modified this thing, or what is that? You know, there must be something going on with this thing, because that thing looks fast and I don't know what it is. You can buy this thing straight up, guys, like it is, and get it out the box. You can get the FedEx guy to send this thing to your door, get it out the box, and it's gonna go straight up this fast. The link's right below if you want to pick one up. The only modifications I've done to this specific wheel right here is I have the EUC side pads, the Governor XL side pads on here, and you can pick those up as well in the links below. And I also have Ginger on Wheels. Shout out to you, man. I appreciate it. He sent me these foot plates that are on the top right here, and they're basically just aftermarket foot plates that go over the. It replaces the grip tape, and it's just like some spiked foot plates that help your feet get some more traction. That's one thing. If you're really leaning on this thing and torquing on it, you got to have something to where your bottom of your feet really catch better on it. Or at least for me, if you're just kind of casual riding, it's no big deal. But for this massive like leaning and torquing and accelerating, that's what you need. Check this dude out right here. Dude, I didn't even see that guy right there. I didn't even notice that was like, I thought that was construction or something. That was a dude straight like little encampment right there, man. Like, I didn't know. Like, that caught me off guard, bro. Y'all ready for something new? Let's go up to Beverly Hills. Let's go up to the hills and go do some one-wheel rally cross. Let's go do some actual, like, full-on F1 style ripping through the tight corners of Hollywood Hills. Let's go see if we can do it real quick on this thing. So, tight corners, rough roads. We're going to be accelerating hard, braking really, really hard, to the point where this tire is going to be skipping in reverse on the brakes, guys. And this is just incredible, the immense power that this thing has to be able to go. This guy right here is like, what is that, dude? But the immense power to be able to actually skid on this thing and brake. And you learn how to maintain it. Once you really understand this Veteran Sherman and you really get used to this 77-pound machine right here, you can really get a feel of how this thing brakes, and you can really get savage on these brakes, guys. And I'm telling you, The unevenness of the road, though, whenever you are in your braking, I guess, progression, the unevenness of the road can kind of bounce you up, which will literally send that tire, it'll make it reverse in the air, and then you'll literally, whenever you hit, it'll go skirt, skirt. It'll be like a skipping effect. And on one wheel, it alerts you, man. That makes your eyebrows raise up, you know, whenever you're on one wheel like that. And it just, on not too many of the other unicycles would it do that very much. It does it on my B-Goat EXN just because these two wheels, the B-Goat EXN and this wheel right here, just have so much power behind them. It is ridiculous compared to the other wheels that I've rode before. And it's the other wheels are great for off-road, you know, for that fast trail riding stuff, for that nimble, lightweight stuff. But these two wheels, the B-Goat EXN, the Veteran Sherman, man, you get these things on the road. You get them on an open stretch or something, and just that immense power, man, it is just something else. It's something else. It's just, I mean, it never gets old, and it's making me really get back into loving this even more. You know, it's just one thing after the other. It was the suspension, and now it's just the fast field, and it's just they keep coming out with more and more cool stuff that you want to get, you know, and it just never gets old. It's not like, you know, like paintball or something where it's like, okay, you know, well, they've changed the aluminum color of the paintball gun 15 times now and made a new indentation on the trigger. It's not like that, you know. This is like massive upgrades, like huge upgrades you're getting every single few months on these things. And it's just, what a hobby to be in, dude. It's so much fun. It's so cool. And if you want to get into this, guys, I'm telling you, and I'll say it again, you don't need to spend this much money to buy this wheel right here. This wheel right here is something I take out every now and then, you know, to really rip on, have fun on, and etc. The wheel that I'm taking out the most for day-to-day stuff is going to be your lower range, lighter weight wheel. It's the wheels I get the most out of, guys. Like I said before, I try to upsell that 16S all the time if you're trying to get into the hobby. That's one wheel, I'm telling you, I love.
All right, guys, I don't want to play all of this video. I just want to play part of it to motivate you guys. So, but I will play this other video to motivate you guys from Alien Rides. Peace again.
I had an MSP and I wanted more power, I wanted more range, and the EXN was the best option for that because it still felt like a smaller wheel, but it had all the power.
I tried the Sherman, didn't really like it. It was too heavy, bulky, sluggish. And then we got our hands on the EXN and it was a lot faster, and with the proper tire on it, feels actually as nimble as my 16X.
And the EXN seemed to fit the category of fast, powerful, with range while still being nimble. Tried the Sherman, didn't like the firmwares with the pedal dips and just the way that it handled. So this was the choice for me.
Hearing about the EXN was cool because I see the guys who are like zooming past me by my Nikola Plus, and I'm like, this might be a wheel that I want to go for, you know. So I tried someone else's wheel, tried 2 EXNs, and I finally was like, you know what, I'm gonna bite the bullet and get one, and I've not stopped riding my EXN since.
And then just one day I was just curious, I'm like, might as well try this EXN, and my first reaction to that was, oh, I want this now.
Well, I have a friend who's really pushy. And no, actually, I was already riding an RS, a Gotway RS, and doing a lot of trails, and had it for about a year. And I'm kind of a big rider. I was like 210 without gear, and pushing that 1800 watt-hour battery pretty good. And I was maxing out that range pretty good. And I heard about an EXN. I watched my buddies ride the wheel, and I just thought I'd give it a try. He actually convinced me after a long ride. You know, there's like 2 or 3 EXNs and me and then a scooter. He said, just try it. Just try it, Sean. I said, okay. So I tried it, and literally like 2 blocks, I fell in love with it. And the balance, the weight, the speed and power, everything about it was just perfect. Yeah.
I just hit 32 this morning, somehow, somewhere. It just carried you. You just don't know. You're just like, oh, I hit this speed apparently. Probably less than 70 miles in this past 2 weeks, yeah. I just riding it every day for 2 weeks, so yeah.
My top speed, so I'm not known as a speed demon, but I have gotten it to 45. That was without thinking about it, without knowing, and without monitoring it, because I don't really have anything to monitor speed. I just knew that it started beeping at me at kind of a low voltage, and it was, I think, around 45. I tend to ride between 35 and 40. That's my sweet spot.
I would say, I think my top speed right now is 46. I comfortably stay within like 35, 45, and I love it. It's good. It's a good spot.
Top speed on the EXN that I've personally hit is 48 miles per hour. I was filming one of our other riders on an EXN. He was going for a top speed run. I was trying to keep me and the camera equipment decently safe, so like when I was hearing those beeps, I was kind of laying off it a little bit.
My top speed is 49 miles an hour.
Went for a top speed run on San Jose Avenue, and I hit 51 miles an hour. And that was while I was seated, so there was less wind resistance, but I got there pretty quick and it was pretty easy.
Internet's acting up, guys, so I'm gonna cut it out. Have a good night, guys. Ride safe.